different entrepreneurs here in Sacramento and watching the Black community just chime in and come and be a part of the successes, right? And
Okay.
really meeting and learning everybody, and then just having conversation,
Network,
like
talking,
yeah,
socializing.
yeah, and creating those relationships,
Yes, that's
those
important.
bonds, and learning from each other.
Yes.
What works, what
Yes.
doesn't,
What doesn't work? And
right?
then what can we try new?
Right.
So
Right.
tell us about some of those things. What things are you guys finding out works?
You know what? For me, what I'm finding out that works, being that it was a mixer, right, is that actually attending
Okay.
those mixers, right, and really getting out there and talking to people. I generally spend so much time trying to create content and working with my clients and different things like that, and kind of missed that part,
The socialized.
right, of the process. And then just really sitting with people who are in essence having the same plight, different businesses,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but some of the same struggles, and actually having that, creating that bond where like, wait, what, in this entrepreneurial thing, you're not alone, and you can learn different stuff, how to, and just being okay with it, like being okay with talking and
And
sharing,
Yeah,
what it is that you do in those type of environments,
Right.
outside of being a quote unquote teacher, coach, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so that was the really big takeaway
For
from
you.
me. Yeah,
For me, what I found is that cross promotion works. It really does work. From the very onset, working with Angie and Chris and talking about the different movements that we had going. For us, it was just Black Friday itself, and for them, of course, it was the whole season and coming together in collaborative effort. We did a lot of sharing. We did a lot of like their canvassers were our canvassers, and that works. It really
yes,
did work. It worked, and so forming collaborations are not always easy because everybody has their own idea of how things should be, and that's okay because everybody should have their own idea.
Absolutely.
right,
But when you collaborate, you save time and money and energy, and then you get to your bottom line. So that's something that I got from it. Just kind of
Ooh,
reaffirmed that okay, this collaboration thing is a win.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear because a lot of people don't hear the successes that Black businesses have by networking. So it's
Right.
good to hear that you guys are really enjoying it, getting something out of it. It's just not a time to come together. Not as a time to come together and party, but y'all really in there networking. So that's good. And y'all can
Yeah.
party. So
right.
that's good to hear.
Celebrate,
Absolutely.
celebrate.
Good morning, Timothy Poole.
Yes. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
All right, y'all. So, sorry, y'all. I'm chiming in so late because this morning, and I'm gonna start inviting people. We are on Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook,
Ha
all
ha.
at the same time.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
yes. We
Y'all,
on
what
the
y'all know
Earth.
about
Did
that?
I mention
What
that
y'all
we
know
on the
about that?
Earth Mama Healing
Network.
Network?
Say that again.
Play with it in the room.
Yes.
Say that again.
I'm the
Yeah.
Earth Mama Healing Network. We're going to get a
Yes.
little jingle.
Right?
Get Jermaine in here doing a little jingle,
know,
right? What happened this week? You have some good shows.
Thank you.
Ooh,
A lot of good marriage
yes.
shows.
Yes.
First of all, we want to send some peace and blessings to the TNT crew. West
Yes.
and West.
West and
West.
West.
Wait, how we go?
Be safe, be
Wait,
safe.
how we go like
How
this?
they do it?
West
West
to
to
West.
West. I can never do that. West.
Yeah, but y'all know
I
what
can only do west side.
Yeah, I
on
can
one
never
hand.
We
do that.
love y'all,
I only got
please.
one hand.
Wait a minute.
Let's combine them, y'all.
Right.
I ain't never
Oh,
do
like
that.
this.
I'm
Girl,
trying,
my
though.
fingers won't even do
Let's
that.
help them out a little bit. Go
Oh,
down
you
here
got-
and
No, mine's
that's
gonna
what I
do.
do.
It's okay though. Y'all know.
And then come up like
So that's the first thing is to send them sisters out some shout outs and some love and all that good stuff. So I just want to start off first by saying that. Second thing is, so the Black Love we got up on the board, that's what that Black Marriage Project is about, the Great
Okay.
Continuum.
Mhm.
Because I just get tired of us, and I'm not gonna try to pin it on white people or I'm just saying flat out, or the media, any of that. I think
Right.
sometimes we feed into Black Love don't work. Because here's the thing,
Right.
shit only matters when you make it matter.
Real talk.
Mhm.
So I hear a lot of Black people like, men ain't shit, women ain't shit. Yeah. Well, I don't know what shit y'all be around. I don't be around shit like that.
I don't know what you attracted.
Yeah, just, you know, it's not
Ooh.
I get really lost because I
Yeah,
grew
yeah.
up in a community where people were married through thick and thin. I'm not
Mhm.
saying marriage is perfect, but if it's working the way it is perfect.
Right.
See, I think we got the perfect
It's perfect for
word
you and your,
wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
so people like, it ain't perfect. Well, it ain't your job to say what's perfect and not perfect. If this shit
Right.
working for me, it's working for Mag.
Right.
You know, so that's why we do this thing on Black Love. And I'm loving the couples. We got more to come. I'm just loving it.
Let me ask you this,
Yeah.
you've done how many so far?
Oh, probably like 5.
Okay, so out of
Oh, I
those
think more
5,
than that.
More than 5?
Yeah.
Bro.
5 or 6, 5.
5 or 6.
Out of
yeah.
10,
Okay.
more than 5 on 10.
Okay.
Out of those interviews, what have you gotten from each one, like consistent in each relationship that makes it last? You know how sometimes
Oh,
a marriage
yeah.
has a theme.
That's
So,
true.
so
Yes.
what are you
What I
hearing
keep
reoccurring in
hearing-
each relationship?
What I keep hearing is that marriage is a lot of sacrifice,
Mm.
and a marriage is a unit.
Mm.
Marriage is a unit. I heard so many couples say that. And particularly with the elders, and then I started hearing it with the younger couples that were married or been married least. They started to understand that you really marry a family. You don't really marry just a person.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, you're a unit. So even if you get with the person that had kids already, I love during my one of the interviews when the man said I guess he was a teacher, and the woman he had been married for 38 years, that he realized that he needed a unit. He wanted to make a unit, and when he seen this woman with her son, and just they're in community together. And he realized that she needed him and they needed her. I mean, they needed him and she needed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
And they needed
yeah.
to make this unit. And I think sometimes black people, for some of us, we ain't never really been a part of a unit. And what does it
Right.
mean to be, if you're in a military unit, you know, leave no one behind. Like,
Right.
all kinds of
Everybody
things that
plays
go
a
Right,
part.
everybody has their part, their
Right.
lane. Yeah.
And so that's what I get. I think at the end of the day, I think people are looking for a unit. I think that's why people get the people. That's why I get with people. That's what you make relationships. We try to make family.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to build a unit, but we
Right.
don't even know that it's a unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then people give us materialism, like my man gotta have $1 million. My man gotta have this man. He may not have shit, and you may not have shit. So
Right.
y'all gonna get
Or he
together
could have
and
it all
create
and y'all be miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
That's
Not even
all.
be a good- not even be a
Yeah,
good
not
unit.
That's
even
true.
be a
Not even be a good unit.
Yeah.
But I just know, I feel like
That's so
now we
true.
live in the age of materialism, so
Absolutely.
that comes up so much. That's why I talked about
Absolutely.
the material. And with them, it was like they built something together.
That's what
Right.
So
I'm
I
talking
love
about.
that. But I also love with the young couple, like seeing them. So the youngest couple ever did been married like a year and a half, some change.
Good morning,
So
Sybil.
yeah, it's so cute. What I loved about this one couple who's been married little less, they so cute. But I love that that they said they've been watching and studying other people's marriages and in their religious faith that they have in common, and they're really trying to build a family unit. So there I can hear all the notes from them. Peace, Finney. I can hear in their talking that like they've been really studying and listening, and they're really relying on their faith. I also learned that faith is important, and sharing the faith is even more important. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That makes sense to
really?
me.
Yeah.
Because like I say, it don't matter what they believe.
Because if you follow two different beliefs, y'all in two different directions. But
Peace,
you gotta
Queen
align.
Arabia.
Ooh.
Yeah, say it again. I'm sorry to do my stuff.
Yeah, that radio voice you just put on.
Peace, Queen Arabia.
But I was saying, yeah, if you got two different beliefs and y'all going two different directions and there's no basic foundation, y'all, yeah, it can get a little tricky.
And you know what that made me think
Yeah.
of? Do we think that religion has a way of pulling people apart or bringing people together?
Both.
Because both. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's about
I
right.
think
Yeah.
both. Because I see religion divide people.
Right.
Absolutely. A lot of division in religion, but I see it also bring people, some people are really bonded by their faith in their religion. If it wasn't for religion,
They wouldn't
some
be
people,
together.
exactly.
Yeah,
Or
but
they
you
wouldn't,
think
they
a
wouldn't
Muslim
have.
could be married to a Christian, or a Christian be married to a traditionalist?
Absolutely.
Or-
I've seen
Absolutely.
it happen
Yeah.
many, many times now. I don't know how successful they are. I'm not in their home, but I have seen
Yeah.
it happen where I know a lot of Muslim women who marry Christian men. You know, because that's just, who they are. But yeah, I've seen it happen. I think anything's possible, but regardless of religion or beliefs, you gotta have some type of foundation and some type of commonality, period, beyond all of that. But yeah, I think it could happen.
I think submitting to
Oh, submit. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just.
That word is
That's
touching the
my
black
joke.
woman.
I
That's my
know,
joke.
but
It's a joke
listen.
for me.
No,
I
I
get
know
you.
it's a joke between me and her.
Yeah.
No, but I think that submitting to a higher power, you know,
Right.
and you know, seeking to a higher energy for your substance. I think if you guys both can do that, I think regardless of what your religious religion is if you're not so caught up in the rituals.
Yeah, and the
That's the key
dogma.
part.
That's
yeah,
the
I
part.
think it could work.
Right on.
Yeah,
So that's what I learned, Khadijah. The unit is a part of the foundation. Is you against the world? I remember hearing that a little
So
bit. growing up.
unit, sacrifice,
Sacrifice.
some type of belief system.
Belief system is super important in
Mhm.
all relationships I talked about. Also, I learned too, there's many different ways of finding people. So none of the people I talked about actually went out looking for a mate. Like, I'm gonna find me your husband. And I'm gonna tell you, nobody really did that. I mean, from the ones I interviewed.
Okay.
One person talked about how they had already had like a child, and they still didn't get married, and then they ended up getting married. But he said it just took them a minute. And so trying to make people get married because you're pregnant or something like that,
Trying to force it,
that doesn't
Yeah.
work. Because then people be upset and whatever. But I also hear a lot of people about how good and how grateful they are that they did get married. Peace, brother Mervin.
Oh, he said you are truly
Oh,
a
thank you, brother.
community jewel.
You got a television voice.
No, I'm getting it from you.
Okay.
So anyway, so
That's
I'm
not a lot. That's not a lot.
I really love the marriage series. I'm learning so
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
And it's 16 basic questions, y'all.
One more question, this is my last one about
Yeah.
this. So are you picking up from this that people's love was organic and not forced, which is that
Pretty
what you're
much.
getting? Okay.
Pretty much.
There's not people trying to, I'm gonna
No.
hook you up, I'm gonna go on this website,
No.
I know this person,
No,
you know,
none of
everything
them were
kinda
like
happened
that.
organically.
No, it's just
Yeah.
organically.
Okay.
And also they had to have people kind of
You want to be married?
yeah, like they
Right.
were ready for it. It wasn't like, oh my God, we jumped the broom because I got this person pregnant, or all my friends were married, so I got married. Like I didn't hear any of that.
And you know what,
Okay,
this,
good.
Christy, I don't know if you
And
watched
some
it.
of them been married. This is their second marriage too. By the
Oh,
way.
Christy's
I
mom.
don't know if Christy
Okay.
if you watching right now,
I've
there's a
been-
TV show one called Ready for Love. And Christy had put on, has anybody watched this show? It's a reality show. And it was 20 black singles all together.
Uh-huh.
10 men, 10 women, and it went down to whatever. At the bottom line, after all of this, it wound up being 2 couples at the end. Because it was people that were supposed to be on here really to find love. So you wasn't ready for love, and so it had some older women on there, you know, well, older like my age, 40 something. And then it had like some of the young ones, but it was like really weeding out what people really wanted. And everybody was saying they wanted to be married, they wanted to have a mate, they wanted to have kids, but as they got in this program, this process, they really didn't want no. They wanted to, like Carlana said, like a hookup, or everybody else was doing it. So when it got down to it, it wound up being 2 couples out of 20 possible couples. Wound up being 2 couples that wound up, you know. So
right.
and you from the beginning of the show, it's a good one. Y'all can go back and watch it on demand or whatever. But it really shows you like the insight of how some black men and women think, because we think we want it. But we want
Right.
it because we see what everybody else got. But no,
Right.
when it got down to the nitty gritty and meeting family members and what your flaws was and all that, they wasn't for none of that.
Right.
It's a good. It was good.
Okay.
Wow.
So Ready for Love.
Ready
And
for
what
Love.
network does it come on?
That I don't know.
Okay, we'll Google it.
Now I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, I have been watching Love Out of Lockup.
What is that?
What's that?
So when I go get my hair done at Dottie's Emporium,
Excuse
That's
me.
Dorothy's Hair Emporium.
yeah. It's my
All
sister,
natural
y'all.
hair care.
So she
Very
has.
nice.
I only watch when I go to her house. It's a part of the ritual. Give my hair done. So it'll be people who be with folks when they locked up, and then when they get out,
They only meet them behind bars.
yeah, it's kind of different.
Oh, so they don't work out after they get out.
Well, we still finding that out.
They ain't all out
It's
yet.
kind of different.
They ain't all
I don't know
out
how you can
Okay.
really, some people that works. I think some of this stuff
Right.
is a little bit dramatic, but it's hilarious. Need to say less. So I've been watching that, and then I've also been watching the 90 Day Fiance.
yet. When they meet somebody from overseas and they got 90 days to get over here
It'd
and
be
get married.
so obvious that people trying to get like their green cards. I mean, I don't know how you can really love somebody like that.
Well, when you
Unless you're getting paid. Now,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
against
or
the
unless
law.
you really so searching for love that somebody can come tell you anything. So there's some people that really ain't never ever had a relationship. Somebody can come tell you anything,
That's so true.
and you really be like, oh my God, they love me. You know,
Right.
That's sad though that you
It's
can't
really
feel
sad,
that
but-
in your own community or in your own world. Like
it's
that's
sad,
kind
but
of
it's
sad
reality.
in a sense. I'm not trying to be funny.
Good morning, Carmen.
But I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I do watch that as a part of my little ritual, get my hair done.
What do you get out of those shows? I mean, when you watch it, is it I know
It's entertaining for me.
but what do you like? Do you?
But it makes me feel like some people are really lonely.
Mm.
That's how I'm not trying to be funny. I think some people are really straight
We
up
almost
lonely.
like, mm.
Right.
And they tend to like just like look for love in all the wrong places, or it makes me feel like what's happening in our community, we can't really be with each other, that somebody
Right.
will go all the way somewhere else to find some kind of love that you should be able to get in your own backyard.
Right.
So that makes me feel a little sad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Let's
yeah.
get over to your board you got, Maya.
Okay, so that's that. Holidays, y'all. Well, hold on, for the holidays. Khadijah, you were telling me, I'm gonna get the judge like that. Just a minute. I'm tired. Somebody talking about so setting up stuff.
Okay.
You said you seen the Suge Knight documentary.
Okay,
And for those of you, before you tell us about it, be very honest. What do you think about Suge Knight? Especially because we all lived the era.
So what did you think about Suge Knight before you saw the documentary?
Right on.
Right.
Okay,
Then-
yeah, we did live through the era, and we did television during that era, so we was not
Okay.
in the thick of it. I didn't know too much about him, but the public persona that I saw of him, and I didn't care for him too much. I thought he was kind of not an asset to our community. I'll put it
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
That's
That
a
way.
great way to
Not an
put
asset.
that.
Right.
So what did y'all think? And then I'll go into what I thought after I saw the
I-
documentary.
Oh, go
Real
ahead.
quick, before the for media, just the media, I thought he was a bully or something. Like he had no morals, he was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
He was just like a terror. That's what I thought. That's what I don't know the man personally.
Yeah, I thought he was a bully, and I thought that he preyed on people's weaknesses and their desperations, and I just thought that he was just some kind of just a thugged out
Mm-hmm.
menace to society.
Yeah.
And I got my nerves because I didn't even know him, but that's what I'm.
Well, yeah,
None of
I
us-
don't know either. None of us know him like that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
But, you know, that's the part that he put out there, so you knew what he portrayed and what he showed, I guess, by the time you caught up with seeing it, because that's what I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought he was kind of just out to,
And a woman beat
you know,
her.
demise anybody that potentially
Oh, no, he didn't beat
got
her.
in the
Show
way of
that
whatever he
jersey,
was
you know.
doing, whatever that could have been, you know, because I didn't really follow any of his work or anything that he was trying to do, but the parts that popped up, you know, was just like, okay, you just gonna shoot somebody because they don't want to talk, they don't want to do what you doing. I mean, that kind of stuff that was showing up. So that's what that's all, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
That's what I knew. That's the part that I knew.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing that you have another take on
Well,
that.
he was all of those things. Don't get me wrong, but I think after watching it, I thought he was just like came from the streets, and he came from a 2-parent home. He played Pop Warner. Most people I know in the hood that's really broke don't get to play Pop Warner. They ain't got no money for all that. But
Right.
anyway, he played Pop Warner. He went to college, was on the Rams practice squad. Then he wound up not being able to do that. He got bitched. He got
Wow.
upset, so he went out. The way I saw it, he was really tired of black people not having money, but making money for all these other people and not for us.
Mhm.
So when he
Okay.
first started off, it's like, let's own this stuff. Let's own our own rights. Let's make our own money.
Mhm.
Then he got so big headed and got greedy, and then he turned
Okay.
into what he thought he saw. You know how? Remember the 5 Heartbeats, Big Red hung over the balcony? He really thought he was
Yeah.
going to live the 5 Heartbeats life. So he really put that in his head. He started living that life.
Gotcha.
But he didn't start off that way. He started off like really, when you really see what he did as far as being the first black man to do this for, own his rights to this, the first black, he did a lot of good shit, but he just got so big headed and he just started feeling himself way too much. But
Gotcha.
He feeling himself.
yeah, he was feeling himself. And then I just saw how he kind of like, he was feeding everybody to keep the drama going because it was filling his pockets. So he got super greedy. It's a good documentary.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna
What was
have
the
to watch
title
that.
of it?
American Dream, American Nightmare, I think.
Ooh.
Ooh.
American Dream,
So
Okay.
American
let me
Nightmare.
ask you this then, Khadijah. You made a good point. So basically, we know him from, Community does through his record label, Death Row.
Mhm.
Right.
And, which also, had artists on there who talked about how hard the street is and all that kind of stuff. Is that real?
For some of them. See, he had a lot of perpetrators. What Suge did, Suge was from the hood in a sense because he came to Compton documentary when it was still pretty much Caucasian. Then it started turning black. So he was in the hood as it became the hood, but he wasn't from the hood the other hood people was from. If that makes any sense at all to y'all.
Right on.
Right,
That
got
makes
that.
sense.
But he kept them hood people around because he needed that hood. He didn't really have no hood cred really because he wasn't a hood dude like that. But he hung around some hood dudes and then he got them hood mentalities and he started learning hood like ways. You know,
Gotcha.
the gang members moved to the neighborhood and the Bloods and the Crips came, so he started getting down with the get down, but that ain't how he was raised really.
Get down
So a
with
lot
the
of those
down.
people are
Wow.
perpetrators. Some of them did come from the hard gang life, some of them did not.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at that point, it became a public persona that you had to keep up. So even if they wanted to be something else, that's why it was so hard for Snoop to finally break that chain and stop all that gang banging with something different, because it was a public persona at that point. So you
Right.
had to keep that blood, Crip, red, blue, thugged out, do or die, ride or die. You had to keep all that going to keep them pockets full. Watch the documentary, y'all. It's a trip.
So I'm just curious, so then what was his relationship, say, with Tupac? Because, you know, we do a lot of, and this is just my thoughts, because I lived the era, and I keep having to say, like, the ghetto, everybody can live in the ghetto, but not have the same ghetto experience.
Right.
We love to act like the ghetto is hard in the motherfucker. And for some people, ghetto was love, people treat each other right, people love each other.
And it's to
People
back
take
you
care
up.
of each other.
That's
Especially
also,
before
but
crack.
that's also
Especially
something else.
Even
that-
during crack.
And that's something
Yeah.
else Suge Knight did. Is
I had
people don't
less of
know.
it.
He
Yeah,
did.
right.
He
I
did
had less.
toy drives. He paid people's rent. He brought groceries. He did turkeys. He took care of single parents. He did a lot of. That's why the community was so dedicated to him at some point, where they wasn't going to turn their back. You know, he just got caught up in the limelight and trying to live
Okay.
that whole stuff. But he did a lot of community stuff as well. And I never knew none of that till I saw the documentary. But I would have never known he had a soft part. I mean, I'm sure he had one, but you see his family talking how he got big. He came back and brought this person this and gave this person the house, and he took care of his people. Even his people got locked up. That's how he got with Tupac. Tupac got locked up. He's, I'm going in there and reach him. Almost predatory a little bit. Don't get me wrong. He has some
Yeah, I
predatory
get that.
ways, but
Got
he
it.
went and got you at your weakest and was like, "You bigger than this. You stronger than this." He just got big headed with it. I think if he,
Got it.
I don't know, different circumstances. If he had Brandon, maybe Dr. Khalid Muhammad, you know what I'm saying? I'm bringing it back to him. But somebody that was
Right.
solid and rounded, because he had the right foundation to build black. He had that. He just
Got it.
he got a little overboard with it, but he had that. Yeah, he had it.
Right,
Wow.
I'm sorry, I gotta get up and do my technical
Yeah.
stuff.
No,
So with that
we got
being
you.
said, I'm gonna bring it back to Tupac.
Okay, go ahead.
How do we then make Tupac, sometimes some of us do, I think usually those are people who, I don't know, I'm not gonna say from what I see. We do this thing where his doing stuff was more like a part of his journey to being an angel and a leader, but why we don't get that to Suge Knight?
Y'all want I can answer that.
So, cause I think that's kind of
Well,
deep, I just
I would
wanna
like
know.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about it.
Go ahead.
Please, go on, sis.
So, because the Boys in the Hood just got finished studying Tupac, and basically what they read, and they didn't get a chance to read all of the poetry, but the Rose That Grew from Concrete, which is Tupac's poetry book. For those of you who don't have it and appreciate poetry, go out and get it. And so, anyway, I had them study Tupac because, as a young boy, because some of them can relate to what Tupac went through and what Tupac, how he grew up. But
His
what,
adolescence.
yes, his
Absolutely.
adolescence. And so what we did was, and I think that we rounded it out and closed it quite nicely, because we didn't portray him as a big hero, although he could have, had he made the right turns, would have potentially been a great leader because he was so articulate.
Right.
He was so articulate. He had so many of the ideas. He was quote unquote conscious, and so I think that he could have been a great leader had he not caught up. But we didn't portray him as that. We just studied his life as a young boy and how he was so articulate, how it got him, the music that he made you feel it. Like that song, Brenda's Got a Baby. I remember we were watching that for
Dear
Boys in the
Mama.
Hood and Dear Mama. And so that was music that made you feel something. Like he was talking about stuff that was really happening. But we also went on and told the truth about some of the things, the choices that he made that was not good. Just like all the choices I made wasn't good.
And one thing I liked about that day in Boys in the Hood, y'all didn't even really chime in on Tupac as an adult. Your
No.
focus was basically on
Okay,
him
so
as
that's,
yeah, hold on. Your focus basically was him as a child and how he vented himself through poetry. So that's, but to
I
answer
agree.
your question about
but hold on,
Tupac,
before I get that, I want to say this real quick, but you really didn't answer my question.
Okay, well,
I asked you, why is it that we have Tupac more as a leader, as a hero? His doing the dirt he did was a part of his struggle into becoming a good leader who talks a lot, but good leaders who talk a lot don't do a lot. That's why leaders for black folks look different than leaders for other people. Other people's leaders have to do, not just talk. They don't care if the person speaks broken English. Nobody cares about that. When you're a real leader, you gotta almost do what Suge did. As a leader, that's called groundwork.
maybe
So I'm
just
asking
being-
you, why do you think, and I want you to think about this before you answer me, why do we chalk that up to Tupac being that's a part of his journey to being a leader and his icon that people got paid off after the boy was dead. Then Suge Knight, that's not being a part. Why we don't see him like that? Because that's
Well,
probably
so-
more of a leadership skill. I hate to say it.
No, it probably is. But you know what? In every good leader, especially if they don't speak well, they usually have like a little lieutenant or whatever. But what I will say is that I'm gonna answer for me, for Dana Maisha. It's just about being impartial. I had a love for Tupac, whereas with Suge Knight, I didn't have that connection with him. Like he wasn't my people's like that. Tupac was my people's. Nah, I didn't know near one of them.
But no, I know what you said. You can relate to him.
I just gravitate, like if we were picking between Prince and Michael, it would be Prince all day. For other people, it would be Michael. I
It
just,
would be none of them for me. Both of them was destructive for black folks, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I get
no,
you.
I love
and
Prince music.
so was Suge Knight and Tupac.
Yeah.
Because the era that they're known for was very destructive.
And I can
Yeah,
I'm
that's all I'm
gonna
saying.
I'm gonna piggyback on both of y'all.
All right, piggyback.
so
Let's get that piggyback.
I think
And y'all put your questions and comments
Yes,
in here.
Right,
Let me
let's
get
hear
to
you.
Get with the get down. What
Yeah.
was it? Is that what it's called?
Oh, I said they.
What
When
you say?
Suge Knight got with they
Yeah.
had to get
Okay,
there.
go ahead, sorry.
So I think for Tupac, for some people, he may be a hero or a voice for some, because it was some people he spoke for back then. I just wasn't one of them, and I wasn't a Tupac fan when he was alive. I wasn't. I had well, some of his stuff, of course, some of his stuff, you're gonna bounce to, but I wasn't like a diehard Tupac fan
Mhm.
personally. I just wasn't into that type of rap.
Mhm.
But I think people always want to, when somebody is no longer here, look at only the positive. So of course we want
Right.
to paint the picture
Mhm.
of Tupac being this voice
It's like
of,
Marvin Gaye, yeah.
we wanted to bring this voice of the youth and the voice of the people at that time. When I watched Suge Knight documentary as well, it showed the destructive shit starting inside of Tupac, because he was all that.
That's what their
And
attraction was.
Snoop Dogg was about to get himself caught up in there too at the award, y'all ain't got love for the West Coast. He was starting to get himself hyped up in it too. But I think Tupac got caught up in his
Energy.
in his fame. He got caught up in his recognition. He got caught up in being heroized by some of his other people. And he got reckless with his mouth, but he just got real reckless. I think he could have been a great person. Not saying that he wasn't already. His music may have reached a lot of people. He may have been the voice for many, and he could have been something great. But I think
Yeah,
he
he
got caught up in
definitely
his own. He got caught up in his own hype. He started believing all that shit he was really rapping about. Because if your mom was a Black Panther and you lived all his life, you wasn't living in those streets like that, Tupac. So he got caught up in the stories that he heard as well. Just
Right.
like everybody else got. See, I look at all these gangbangers and they got on crisp, clean, starched jeans. They got on crisp, I don't know people that was really from the hood that's just clean like that with clean ass chucks on. So they wasn't really living that hood gangster street life. They got
Right.
caught up in that lyrics. They got caught up in that gangster rap. They got caught up in the label of their damn record.
Right.
Death Row Records. When they went back and looked at everybody that was with him, only a couple of them made it out.
Yep.
A lot of them dead or locked the hell up. So he really, when he wanted
Wow.
Death Row Records, it was death. It was your death row.
Yeah.
And he
Some
kind of had that,
prophecy
you gonna
of
get
that,
down
yeah.
or lay down. And Suge Knight kind of came from that.
Mm.
You gonna get down or lay down. And Tupac, unfortunately, he got laid down.
Wow.
Not saying this from Suge, but he got laid down. When you put it out there, that's why thoughts and things and that energy you put out. Tupac
Yes.
was putting out, he had a lot of inspirational, he kicked a lot of, semi-conscious knowledge, a little wake-up music, he did what he could do, but he's put a lot of bullshit out there. He put a lot of
He
drama.
did.
He created a lot of drama,
So I just wonder with those two, that sometimes in our community, we just have this way of dressing up some people and
Right.
not dressing up the others. And then when we get busted, we'll be like, well, all of us are struggling. No, we're not talking about all of us are struggling, because I watch that with young people. Some people will dress up and make cute. They could be just as much as the devil as the person we see clearly as the devil.
That's real
And
talk.
I
Right.
just have to say this
I deal
again.
with that
A
every day.
real leader does the work. Don't nobody fucking remember your speeches.
and I think Suge,
I'm just gonna
and
be
watching
honest.
this
I think it
documentary,
depends on who you
Suge
are.
took a
No, I'm
lot
talking
of
about,
No,
I'm talking about real
those-
leadership. I'm not talking about somebody making me feel good. We live in the feel good world. That's why we ain't got shit as collectively as a people, because we're always wanting to feel good.
Right.
What I'm saying is a real leader, and maybe our
Gonna
ideas
take
of
the
leaders
shot,
are
they gonna
different.
take
No,
the-
I
Yeah,
think
no,
they're the same.
I don't think they're the same, Dana. I don't think they're the same. Let me tell you why. When you watch The Faces of Africa and you watch all of those black men who tried to free their country,
Mhm.
their leader, some of them, some of them were educated by the U.S., but they had to get out there, put their fatigues on, put on the gun with
They
the
had
rounds.
to take some
They had
throats.
to
They
take
had
some,
to,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
they,
had to
didn't
do
believe
work.
in spokesperson stuff. We believe in spokesperson
and that's why I said
I think both of them is good.
Yeah.
we need them both.
I think we
We
need
need
both.
both.
But I like to see them combined.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
a person like people who talk like I
And
kind
I-
of fall asleep.
And I think
But I go by what you do. If you out there doing something, I'll come and do it with you. But if you talking all day, I don't want to hear you. I don't want
And
to
I
hear
think-
narcissistic.
Right.
I think
That's
Suge might have been the
narcissism.
fall
People
guy for a
speaking.
lot of stuff because
If that's all they're doing is what you're
Suge
saying.
went in there and he was like, if we gonna have this black minutes, I mean, I wish I would have known him back then, you know, before he got, cause Suge was about that business and I love that fighter warrior side of him that we gonna have some black stuff that we own. I love
Right.
that
What we
side of
talking
him.
right now.
I love that side. He just got, you know, look, it wasn't channel right. He didn't have none of the big homies, as they say, or the elders or whatever, come in and channel that. Cause
Right.
Suge had the energy, he made millions of, his Death Row was only around for a couple of years, and this man made buku money. Like he had, you know, what I'm saying? He made some
Right.
cash, so he had the right idea. I just don't think he had the proper channeling and the right people around him to really nurture that fiery warrior side
Right.
of him in the correct way. He went out there and really went barbaric, like we was, like, you know, in the jungles of Africa. He forgot where we was
Yeah.
at here. He really was like, I'm like, you're not gonna do this? I'm taking your head.
Cause that's when you're at war. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it's like. I
Right.
hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's not just like, man, he gave such an inspirational speech and then he died.
Yeah,
Like, no.
and yeah, no.
People go
no,
by
no.
what you have done. And
Yeah.
when you watch
Right.
these, for me, watching documentaries, it always kind of makes me understand that. Because in the documentary, you get to hear the backdrop of people.
Yeah.
You don't get to hear, like, poetry, beautiful. Love Maya Angelou. That's a good person. But also, I know some of the things that she did. So
Right.
words is cute. Words make you feel good. Music make you feel good. Fucking make you feel good. But what have you
That's a
left?
lot of songs.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Make you
going to
feel
say.
good.
Right there.
It
Make
like
you
they
feel
call it-
good.
It seems like
And
we
make
saying
you
the
feel
same
good.
thing. You saying it's all good.
No, I agree, but what I'm saying though, what I'm saying is, in leadership styles, I get
You know
the
what,
leadership
y'all,
style.
you know what it is, y'all both look for two different things out of leaders.
That's what I'm gonna say.
That's
Leadership,
it.
that's why I said
Yeah.
leadership styles.
Dana's fine with her leader giving her motivational speeches to encourage her.
Right on,
Londa
right
want
on.
her leader to give you a speech, and then we got
And
to
get
go
in
out
the
there with a
trenches
club
with me.
and bust
Ain't
them over
nothing
their
wrong
head.
with
Yeah,
that.
so y'all got two different
Yeah, that's
styles.
what
of
I'm
leadership.
saying.
Right.
Leadership style,
That's it,
right
yeah.
on, Khadijah, leadership style.
Right.
So I just wonder, because I always see that dynamic with people, like we'll praise one person, then the same person did the same shit,
Mhm.
and then we'd be like, that person's the devil, and it's like, wait a minute, because here's the thing, both of them was rocking together, so it
Right.
must have been something in common, even though we want to call Suge shady, so was Tupac,
Yeah.
because
Right.
you had to be shady to get with shady.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
know,
right,
like,
'cause
you know,
you're
I hate to
who
say
you
that,
are.
no disrespect, but, you know, there's some people
That's
like
that
I
old
have
saying, you are the company you keep.
Yeah.
That saying
Right.
ain't come
So-
around for nothing.
And I always like to say, I remember living that, so living the era for me was a little different, because I always had to live with like consequences of what you didn't do, if come back, you know how mom was, you know, she'll visit you, come back on you, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I kind of lived in that world, so I couldn't even hang around people who wasn't doing shit right. Cause I swear, I think my mother would show up, and I never wanted to make my mother sad or
At
cry or
all.
whatever. So
Mhm.
this is some shit I just had to pass on. And
Mhm.
especially
Right.
with
Straight
women
up.
who didn't have morals, like you're not gonna see me doing certain shit. And
Mhm.
thank God, women, they had video back then, Lord Jesus.
Right.
Some of us couldn't even look
And
like
that's
kids
why
back
a lot of
in
them
the
is in
day.
trouble now, because they
That's
started
true.
getting videos towards the end though. But, you know,
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
out.
No, that's so true though.
That's true.
Yeah.
The bridge is over. So that's a really good one. That really made me think of something right there. That Suge Knight and Tupac. That's like a duality that exists in our community in
Yeah.
particular.
It's just
Yeah.
like, right?
Who do you think has been the most influential dude in hip hop?
Oh,
For real.
that's too big of a question. That's too,
That's
it's been too many
big.
for me.
Well, give me a couple. I'll
Both
take a couple.
influential in hip hop.
Yes, you think like man, like
Oh,
it's so
Lord
clear.
Jesus. For sure for me would be Public Enemy.
I was gonna say
Chuck
that.
It would
Okay.
definitely be Chuck
And we
D,
know
Public
Flavor
Enemy.
Flav was a fool.
But he was also very brilliant.
Yeah,
See,
absolutely.
He
He
was
was-
been a clown because we like clowns.
Flavor Flav, and I'm not trying to, but he
That's
reminds
what
me of
I'm talking
Stephon Clark's brother, because you know how people act like he just always saying something crazy, but he dropped some jewels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cervante
Right.
dropped some jewels, some time. You got to just listen to him. The little bro D. But
Yeah.
anyway, Chuck D for sure. Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah.
Oh,
You talking about
yes.
Mary-
Oh, it- it-
Yes, Queen
So Queen, I would give it to
Latifah.
Queen. She's the baddest female rapper to me ever. I don't know about
Oh.
the jazz people, but she and see her work goes
You
on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta let her know.
Who you calling the?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Instinct. Okay, we
Right.
did this last week, Dana.
Okay,
Oh,
we did.
but yeah, for
no,
sure, yeah.
no, in terms of the songs.
Yeah.
So you said Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, what else?
Mhm.
X Clan for sure, X Clan. We used to bump the X Clan all the time.
What about roots? Or can you
Roots
call
is
them
cool.
hip hop?
Yeah, that was hip hop and
Hip-hop.
R&B. That was, yeah.
Hip hop.
Cause
We
hip hop
can claim
was
shit
jazz.
hop, we can claim them.
If we can claim what?
Shit hop.
Shit.
Y'all, what is this? Is this a new genre?
Shit hop is the, go ahead, do the beat. And it.
It's good.
Oh.
Bitch. That's shit hop. But that's just me, y'all.
MC
Hey.
Light, Pamela Clark. Yeah, MC Light is a good one.
Yeah, MC Light. Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all,
It's a
thank
lot.
y'all. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's a
Oh
lot.
my God, bro, I'm gonna whoop you, bro. Do it again one
Nah,
time.
okay. Skid
Nah.
up.
Right.
Bitch. I be like, what just happened? Like, what?
Okay. What about
And those
you?
songs make it though.
I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse my French.
Please.
To be honest, when the people say like, oh, those songs are number one on the billboards, when you're hopped up on lean, weed, cocaine, and crack, anything could be number one because you don't know what the hell you're listening to. But you high as hell. I'm gonna be funny, but this generation is so. This is a generation that like straight up drug addicts. Like they popping pills, sipping shit. They don't. That's why that beat is. They in the days like, I'm high as hell. I don't. They
See,
in the
me, I
days.
wanna know what you're saying. I wanna
That's
know
why
the
we. That's why we
words.
can't get to it. But they
Yeah.
like in the days. Like it's like a fog. It's like they. It's like we in the night. Okay, remember Night of Living Baseheads? Okay.
Yes, I remember.
We're in
that.
Night of Living Baseheads right now. It's just 2018, about to be 19, but we're living with walk-in baseheads now, off of lean and all the stuff. These are walk-in functioning baseheads out here.
Do
In
you
the form
think
of
some of
children.
that has
Wow.
to do with maybe, and y'all roll with me for just a minute, coming from the crack era, we had a lot of people was born with drugs on board.
Yes.
That's just
Yeah.
reality.
They're
We
born
also have food.
positive.
We also have food that's not real food.
Uh-huh.
Right.
We eat fruit without seeds in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm just saying, which means it's genetically modified. You have to,
You have to have
the
seeds.
seeds,
Right.
right? So when you think about all those things, do you think this? Because I also think when we talked about a lot, like we came up in the '80s, part of the '70s, whatever, '90s, that kind of like started to even rap because kind of get on my nerves a little bit. I think that's when it was kind of downfall was coming. Do you think with the mindless part of we're talking about with this music comes from all of those other things I talked about? Because if you look at the people now, I don't know how you can listen to that and think revolution.
You can't.
See, when you
Right.
talk, you look at the movies like like Poor Righteous Teachers, X-Clan, Brand Nubian, like I go down to Public Enemy, you know,
Yeah.
even Run
Yes,
DMC, even they shit was like
Even
relatable.
Cube when he
Yeah.
left.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
when he left there, he was trying to
So
be
it was more about
Yeah.
revolutionary thought in terms of being proud of yourself, knowing
Yeah.
where you're from, you know who your peoples are,
Right.
you're standing on some shoulders. Nowadays, it's like people be thinking they doing something because they fed 20 people. It's like, dude, like you're supposed to do that. That's what the fuck
Right.
we've always done.
And 18
Right.
of them be their kids, but
Shut
Ooh,
your mouth.
Stop.
but yeah, I'm just joking.
Shut your mouth.
No, that's.
No,
I
that's-
say that.
But I'm just saying. So I think when you think about that, that may add a little bit to
Well, you gotta
what we're
think it was
seeing.
like you said, the crack era was a lot of babies born tox positive.
Yeah.
Because, you know, during that
Yeah.
time, towards the end of that, I was working at the Birthing Project and I was the front office deputy, so it was a lot of children born tox positive.
Positive, right on.
So
Okay.
those children also grew up, those are the ones that people are now saying have ADHD or ADD or can't sit still and
Right.
can't do all this because they have a chemical imbalance. So then they put those kids on Ritalin and Prozac and Depakote, and as they get older, they can't cope no more, so they start smoking weed. Then the weed, you know, don't do nothing really calm them down, so they gotta go to something bigger and syrup, and that's what we see. So, Londa, I'm in agreement. All of those play a factor in what we
Yeah.
see today.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah.
This queen here says that's why she loves artists like Soul Development. And Pamela Clark said MC Light
Yes.
is her
Yes.
queen. Okay.
Okay.
I know
Yes.
that's right. And Yeye Ifini said that Queen Latifah is her goddaughter.
In my head. In my head.
She
Girl.
thinking
I
about-
love
She said in my head.
I love Queen Latifah. I just love Queen Latifah.
That's
Again,
okay.
Right.
her name is Queen Latifah,
Mm.
not Nicki Minaj. Not trying to be
Right.
funny. Nicki Minaj. I'm just saying. So
She
it's
came
just-
out like royalty. Like, she knew, like, bam.
Yeah,
Respected.
and she didn't.
Oh,
have
hell,
to-
Queen. Like,
Yeah,
bam.
that was.
She told y'all
right
straight
there,
up what it was
straight
about.
up. So I'm
Right.
not trying to diss anybody. I'm just saying I think you have to look at that. I think sometimes we don't like to look at the things that we're trying. One thing about us, like black people have things I just love about us. You know, I love me some black folks. But sometimes sometimes it seems like some of us like to support the gutter with no morals, and then when the shit go wrong, you look to the people who are moral to fix your moral as ass, when you could have just fixed it in the beginning and had some morals.
Right.
You You know, it's just like, I grew up with 2 Live Crew, you know, Reese Horn and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But when my mother walked in the room, when Adele walked in the room, we turned that shit off.
Oh,
Like, we
right.
did not play that when they was
You
in the
didn't even
house.
want
Right.
nobody to know you was listening
That's
to
so
that.
true.
Yeah, you act like you didn't
So-
even know their songs.
Right.
Yeah, Finney. Oh, you gonna read it?
Oh,
Okay.
you could go.
She said the intention of some of the music today is to distract from revolution and distracted from the
Yes.
importance of community.
That's so true.
That's so true,
exactly
yeah.
what I tried
To
to
rock
say,
you to
like,
sleep,
yeah.
or keep you asleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I just thought, I think that's a good conversation, but we're from that era, so some people our age now are grandparents, believe it or not.
Mhm.
You know, and we have grown children. How do you want your grown children to live in this reality? So that when they're our age, in their 40s and 50, I guess, yes?
Right.
Yes.
Still good at 50. How do you want them, what kind of conversation you want them to be having?
Who wanna answer?
That's
I feel like I've been
that's
talking
a
a lot.
good one.
Cause I got it.
I would want mine to actually be having a conversation of how to get things ready for the next generation after them.
Yes.
You know, how do they like really stop and own the crap that they created that created another level of having to fix shit,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Cause damn.
Right? How long you probably fix it? Real talk.
Right.
Real talk.
Damn.
I want my daughter, who's 23 in 20 years, if she's, 43 in my age, I want her to be standing in her truth,
Yeah.
how she is today. And I want her to be talking about, the other businesses that are gonna be opening overseas and a business that's gonna already be established 20 years from now. I don't want her to be sitting here 20 years talking about this shit we talking about. I hope she's talking
Yeah.
about the empire that's
Right
gonna
on.
continue to expand. I hope to have had a lot of this shit cleared up in 20 years
Right.
before my grandkids and,
Yeah.
all that get here. But I hope she's standing in her truth. I hope she has a loving black husband and some
Mhm.
beautiful babies
Yeah.
and
Right.
building her empire, standing in her truth, living in her light, and letting the legacy of my mother, Mae Newman, continue on. That's what I hope to see in 20 years.
Yes.
I hope and pray, that it's a better world. I hope we're creating a better space for them. But I
Right,
want them to
yeah.
be in something totally different than what we in right now. I don't want them to
Right.
have these same topics.
So you
Yeah.
basically, I'm gonna hear from you, Dana, because I'm gonna hear you, but I also think that's what we did when we was in our 20s.
Mhm.
That's why the music we listened to fed us. I don't know if
Yeah.
you gonna get there as good as.
But see, my daughter don't live, well, my daughter.
I know she don't.
But
So I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
the
I'm
other
just
shit,
thinking
yeah,
about-
my daughter doesn't even listen to it. That's why we know it's hard for me. I don't even know some of these songs because I don't know youth that really listen to that. The children I'm
Right.
around, the youth I'm around are so well versed in music.
Yeah.
They listen to jazz, classical, R&B, rap.
Earth,
Different.
Wind, and Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything,
Right.
all of it. Bohemian Rhapsody. You name it, listening to
Yeah.
it, anything. So, the music's not gonna be this. I hope we not letting the music raise our kids. So I know we are though, y'all.
Some
But
of us
goddamn, come on.
Mm.
Cause people be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like,
Come
you
on.
think they really know these damn people. They don't even know these damn
Yeah.
people.
I'm
What
sure.
about you?
I'm
I
sure.
love you too, Kim.
I'm sure my son and my daughter listen to some of that music, but they don't listen to it around me.
And their defense is
Right.
probably for the beat. I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes when I'm like, at work or whatever and the kids are playing it, I just hear the beat. I can't hear the words. And I be in my office and I be just like, the beat get you, I don't know nothing that they saying. So when your kids defense could just be the beat. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Right.
so I know that they probably do. I have my share of the of that music this summer working with young people. So I'm not gonna lie, and I think I was out there bobbing my head too. What was
Yeah,
that
it's
song,
the beat.
Kiki? And so I didn't even realize, I don't even know what these people are saying.
It's the beat.
Yeah. But what I would hope is that, and really the only thing I can do is just try to be an example of what they should be doing. I talk to them about it, and I just hope for the best. The same thing like my parents hope for me.
Did they hope or did they also have standards?
They have
Did they have-
definitely, my parents,
Yeah.
Right.
So
My
don't just say
parents-
hope, because your parents ain't just
yeah,
hope.
my parents
They laid a
definitely.
foundation, some standards, some
Yes.
expectations.
Expectations,
That's
right,
true.
right. So, and that's how I do with my children too. So,
Church all over today.
yeah,
I
church
know.
is
That's why I
early
said use
today.
your mic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, and so just being an example of what they need to be doing, because I know everything starts within your family, but you also too got to build a community of what you want your children to live in.
Absolutely.
So, just trying to be an example of that.
Right.
What I love about y'all, sometimes these questions are kind of hard because people
Yeah.
start thinking like, is this is my report card. But I also,
Just tell the truth.
no, really, but I also think part of it is, because sometimes, so also to be in community, I just want to hear this stuff, didn't I? Also in community, it also means your immediate house, not just the people outside the house.
Right.
Your first ideal of community comes from your house.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Right.
I remember somebody saying when they were in certain people's homes and they seen how loving and caring they were, they said, that's not how it is in my house. And that's why it was hard for them to blend into community, because they're not used to that.
Yeah,
You know, we're used to sharing everything we got, like,
I got a piece
always
of bread,
felt
we
like-
cut it in eight, let's go,
yeah,
all
we,
eat today, we make
we have so
community.
much extended family,
Right.
and that's because that's how we was raised, like, we come in and like, this my sister, I just met her, you know, we
They
come
were
from
Friday.
that, honestly.
They kept thinking the
Yeah.
lady was my sister on Friday, even, Dr. Jackie called her Khadijah, everybody, so yeah, her name was
Yeah.
Sonya, but yeah, they thought she was my
But
sister.
it's
Yeah.
all good, I just feel like that's part of it, and I'm just saying, music, see, let's just stop and look at music for just a minute.
Let's look at it.
Music is very powerful, music is what's got us through slavery.
Yes.
Let's be honest, that's why nobody blues, gospel, or
Right.
spirituals.
Yeah.
I don't know about the gospel stuff.
That's the rhythm
But
in
spiritual-
blues,
Yeah,
the
blues,
rhythm came
yeah.
from us keeping rhythm.
Right,
The
and
blues
so
came,
you
yeah.
have
Right.
to get up and go do whatever you gotta do, it was the right. So that kept us going, so music.
No.
Why was I supposed to come in though? Why was I supposed to come in on that?
Right.
So I'm just saying, music is not just music. When I hear people say, oh, it's just music, no, music is not just music. It really is like breathing. It's what ties you over. That's why when a lot of us gotta do a lot of hard work, we get the music ready, we get ready to go on a trip, we get some hard time in, work in, drive whatever, we put some music on.
Before you
Music is
exercise,
powerful. Before you exercise.
Right.
Before you about to go to a funeral, you put in something to soothe your soul.
Hello.
Before you about to meet somebody,
Yeah.
you gotta confront on something, you put some music in to soothe your soul.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Music
Yeah.
is not just this
We just-
thing
Right.
that people just make. That's why I put so much emphasis even on the artists.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And this
Right.
to back you up with the technology and academy class on Thursday, where Mr. Archie and Mr. Allen, they were
Yes.
talking about, the kids was really flabbergasted at how the music from 1962
Yeah.
was played right now, and they had sampled. The kids was tripping.
What I was tripping.
Oh, the cruising.
Girl,
Yeah.
Smokey
And I didn't
Robinson.
even know that Bruno Mars stole
All this
Jermaine
stuff.
Brown. No, I mean, Jermaine Jackson's Curious. That's Curious. That's
I
was
did
Jermaine
not know
Jackson.
that.
I didn't even know
care
this.
what nobody
But
said.
I, you know, nobody think about Jermaine, but music really is more than just music. Nobody think about Jermaine Jackson. Only thing you talk about Jermaine now is that plastic hairdo.
But that's all I'm saying. I just think music is so important. I just feel like we just can't. It's not
timeless.
just this. It's not like we just went and smoked a cigarette and that was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Like music
Right.
lingers in
It's
your spirit
timeless.
and your
It's
Yeah.
soul.
timeless.
You know, here and now.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song, I think about people getting married.
Mhm.
Or if I hear "I Never Leave in Summer," you know, I think you know Stevie Wonder, or
Ooh,
you know somebody
Stevie
leaving
Wonder is
you,
the
and
truth.
you know, I mean, just all of that.
Right.
Like you know, I remember
Ribbon in the Sky.
Ribbon in the Sky. You know, or watching young people discover even those artists. I remember when my niece was in love with, was it Stevie Wonder? Like, oh, she was playing all of his stuff. I was like, oh my God, I'm so good. Or when my nephew fell over Earth, Wind, and Fire, I was so tired of hearing the reasons. However, he was supposed to go Beauty Day, you know, it was cute. Yes, Lord. And I was like, that's so cute.
Look at
Remember I
her.
made that CD had on it like 100 times and shit. Just hit repeat. I didn't think about that, but you know, it's just something about when you discover things like that really speaks to
Right.
you. Or you think about the song.
Yeah.
What songs have got you through some trying times?
Makes me wanna
You
holler.
wanna, yeah, you know.
Throw up both my hands.
Ooh.
So
Right on.
both
So
of my,
what
you ain't never
songs
threw
have
up
y'all-
both your hands?
What songs do y'all listen to when you're trying to push through something?
Well, for sure makes me wanna holler because I'm a Marvin Gaye fan, but that's
I have, it's a
Yeah.
very Mary from like my first and second CDs. I
Oh.
survived, I survived. Anyway, I survived. Anything from the Clark sisters for me.
Girl,
Yeah.
you made my day.
Oh,
Why you
yes!
singing?
Oh,
You
y'all,
came
please.
my way.
What's that part?
You know I got Clark.
You
can't sing.
heard me every time I pray.
Right.
Yes.
You gave me peace.
Oh.
You gave me grace.
I know it's better than
Come on, y'all.
My voice
You put a smile upon my face. Hey, I'm sorry. I do.
Ooh,
I
I'm snapping
do.
my finger.
Oh, somebody said Mary J.
You're not supposed to.
All day, all day, every day.
That's right,
What's
Kim.
that?
Mary J. She's my Mary J. Blige all day, every day. This her period. We
Oh, okay,
Mary J.
oh, okay.
What's your
Mary
favorite
J.
Mary
you
J. Blige
I do
song?
love Mary J. Blige too.
You are everything. That's the the remake. That's my favorite one, Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah,
then,
I
And you know what? I could. Her not gonna cry for me. It made me think of my parents when her so not gonna cry. Cause you know, not gonna cry.
Oh,
you know how
yeah.
we put up for so long, and then you like, I'm
Right.
not crying no more. Goddamn.
Oh,
So I can relate to that from just women I know
Yeah.
growing up.
Right.
Yeah. So not gonna
Done.
cry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yes.
real talk.
Yeah.
Mom, you know who
Well,
Kim is on here?
No.
This was the one that
Okay.
came to us with the board meeting. With the blonde
Ah,
curls.
yeah.
That's how White
Hey,
Soul
sis.
Sister came through.
Yeah.
See, when we talk about black, I get that. But I got some white people that stand up with me. And she was a white woman that
Yeah.
showed up when
Yep.
my son was being racially bullied. White lady, they were surprised to see her roll up in there with her blonde, tight curls, and she got up and was ready to represent. So,
Okay.
Real talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's when you become a human, though.
yeah,
Right.
What you're doing is the human factor.
exactly.
Right.
Let's just be
exactly.
honest.
Yep.
I love when somebody said this shit ain't right and they stand up.
Yeah.
That ain't easy. That could be some
Especially
scary
in
stuff.
She said, I'm the black white girl.
Real talk though. Real talk.
All
though.
right.
Show up though.
So that's that with the song. You know, songs we can go there all day. So now it's the holiday season. What does that mean to y'all?
It
'Cause
means
holidays is coming.
it mean good eating.
Mm.
And it means family time, cause I don't really do Christmas, but I
Right.
do a family sleepover, and I mean I get to be around all my nieces and nephews and
Right.
great and nephews and my siblings and extended family and close friends, and we get to hang out and act a donkey and laugh and eat and
Yeah.
create more memories. And I know we're gonna be talking about this stuff all the way up into April and stuff, cause somebody do something crazy every year.
Mhm.
My
Right.
niece every year usually will have a few cocktails and break something. It's just a glass or something. Something. She don't mean to. She'll bump the table something. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to one of my sisters probably have the cocktail and crying. That usually happens too.
Shut your mouth.
That's
That's we waiting for that.
yeah.
She
We,
be sitting on the
we
floor.
cannot wait.
Yeah,
So
like
that's,
but when she get drunk, the cute thing is she be like, I love all my
Yeah.
family. We all we got.
Yeah.
Like she going to warrior stance
So
almost.
I'm looking
I in a loving way though.
I'm looking forward to all of those. Those
That's
are
so
traditions to me. Like
Right.
those are traditions. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
What day
like
is it this year, son?
29th.
29th. Okay.
I'm looking forward to all that. Yeah. So what about y'all?
Well, for me,
And my new nephew Roman's coming too. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, Roman's coming over to spend the night too.
I love you.
Yay!
Thank God, more boys.
Right?
I mean, no, really, because we could have nephews, but there's a lot of girls. It's easy to do girl stuff, but it's nice to have
Right.
boys there as well.
Okay. Well, I don't celebrate Christmas, but it's again, I do take advantage of
That right there.
that break,
Mhm.
right? That break, and then because then my children are at the age now they got their own stuff going on, and so in their stuff they have a break as well, and so then I get to get those hugs, I get to get the cuddle, and they remind me that yeah, we still like you, and
Aw.
in our adulthood, that's kind of cute, because there is a period that they go, really, lady, get away from me, and but then now they're really,
Don't you love it though?
yeah, it's like, oh, they still like me.
I know.
And so just again, like you said, creating those memories, watching my granddaughter, this little person who doesn't know that she's 5 years old, and
Mhm.
and what all that brings.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I know.
just creating those new traditions, because for me that's really important, because it's wasn't like something that really, like in my household, that my mother, we would have to go out like to my grandmother's and different pieces, but in the nucleus that I grew up in,
I know.
that, and so for me, I know a lot of times my kids like, God, this lady's getting on my nerves, but it's because of that. That is like, no, we have to create this, because again, I will probably be like the cousin that's sitting in the middle of the floor. Y'all better remember, I'm your mama. This all we got.
Not you gotta remember.
I need y'all to remember that.
I'll
Yeah.
bring you another shot, girl. Sit
Yes.
back and start singing a song.
Yes. So yeah, that's
I
what the
love it.
holidays mean for me. Yeah.
Mhm. So the holidays
Mike,
for
okay.
me, so I'm gonna say now I'm kind of in a transition phase,
Hmm.
because I grew up celebrating all of the holidays. That's how I grew up. You know, my parents celebrated the traditional holidays. And then for the longest time, like over 20 years, I didn't celebrate any holidays whatsoever. And so now I'm in like a transition phase of creating my own traditions. So
Right.
like, for the first time, as my family, the way it is structured now, we're doing Kwanzaa this year, so that's good.
Yeah.
We've reinstituted our family game nights because for a period of a couple of years we kind of didn't do it, and family meetings and stuff like that. And so,
Nice.
you know, a lot of things have changed in my life, and so I'm creating new traditions. So I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to creating new memories and stuff like that. So. I would have to say that it's been a good time. Yeah, it's been a good time for me.
Good. What about you?
I just
Miss
participate in everybody's stuff. So
Are
at
you
my
making
house, I'm not gonna
banana
lie, at my house right now, and I am a spiritualist, I have a Christmas tree, cause somebody else like celebrating Christmas, but I also got a, Hanukkah, so we got that all set up, and then we're gonna add that on with the, Kwanzaa.
To the Canard.
Right.
So, with the Canard, so we have a Menorah, and then we're gonna have the Canard, and then the Christmas tree, so, I
Nice.
just
Oh,
celebrate with everybody's stuff.
no, no.
Yeah, so,
So you really community.
I am, we was
So
all.
question,
Yeah.
we're talking about community, are you making, banana pudding, because I have your bowl in my car.
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
need
fine.
that.
You got two
Yeah.
bowls. You need to have two
Her
bowls so she
banana
can.
pudding is,
Yeah. I
y'all.
have a special
So what
dish,
do-
y'all, I'm
It
so
is
excited.
so bomb.
Outside of the cabbage. So now, just
I have a special
again,
dish.
I
I've never had a
this
special
public
dish.
announcement.
I am.
Public
Can you
announcement.
make one?
It is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
Public
No, no,
announcement.
I'm making one, for real, I'm making one.
It is
I'm gonna
so
go
So
with
that
stuff.
means, that
making
means
my
cabbage
banana.
and banana pudding for me.
It is so
I'll get
good.
you, I got an extra pan and everything.
It is so good.
I'll bring your
It's
pan.
good. Y'all need
You
a
want
pan
ice,
though.
yeah.
Really
Cause
good.
it take months to get my bowls and stuff
First of
back,
all,
so
the
now
bowl
they
didn't
can
come from me,
play.
so.
But I'll make you one, it's real awesome. But I have a specialty dish, I feel pretty good about that, cause growing up, you know, people have special, like Khadijah, like, wait a minute. I ain't got my potatoes
I
out
can't
yet.
even hear you.
But it's all good, I know, yeah, I ain't even got my potatoes out yet, but I ain't gonna say
So
Hey,
Khadijah makes the
Khadijah.
potato salad.
Potato salad.
that. Yeah, I didn't get that, but it's all good, you know, my feelings. is
Oh, she didn't
hard,
come
but-
by. She said you didn't come by.
I can't stay.
Did you come by?
I love you,
Did
but
you
I
come
can't
by?
stay right now. Yes, I did come
No,
by.
you didn't come by.
Yeah, I
You
did
didn't
come
come
by.
out at the right time,
And then when I
though.
called
Is
you,
that
you
what
said
it
you ain't
was?
ready, and I just drove off. I didn't come in the house. She makes the bomb potato salad though. She makes potato salad like my Aunt Winnie. She makes the bomb potato salad. She really does.
Oh, that's so nice.
Got y'all, I got y'all.
Yeah, she can really.
I need a
We need to
specific
just have a
date
I'm
time.
about to redo something.
We need to
A
have
soul
Do
a
it for New Year, the beginning of the year, soul food, something. What's
So,
the
yeah, right on. We gonna work on that, cause we gotta do that. I'm serious. Cause
Yeah.
I think that's
Don't
a
do it
part
on
of.
second and fourth
Okay,
Friday.
okay, we're not gonna do, maybe do like a, I don't know, we'll come up with a
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
do think that's a part of, and I also think with this food is a way of, that, no, for me,
That's how we
it keeps
connect.
my
Yeah.
love alive of people who are no longer here, cause it's the
Right,
holidays.
yeah.
That's when you just like, oh, that's
Right.
my
Yes,
Aunt
yes.
This, my mama used to make these, and you know, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's, you know, so, I eat in moderation now, thank God, but it be time I eat so bad, I be like, lay down, and then get up and eat again, like, wow, this is ridiculous.
Wake up, eat. Something.
Eat.
That's all.
Yeah.
I think it's drink though.
So, I'm definitely, right on, Khadijah, you right on. So with that being said, I'm gonna take a moment and, she's gonna white girl get in the invite.
Got you.
Yeah, I mean,
Got you, Kim.
You know, we pass people off the back in a minute.
Right.
I've done that a few
But see,
times.
but you know the cool thing about Kim?
No, I'm just.
No, I'm just saying the cool thing about her when y'all
Who is
meet her,
Kim?
she's comfortable in her skin. She don't
Yeah.
come in trying to be like, what's up, homie? Hey, girl.
Yeah,
She don't do all that. She just Kim.
I
Yeah.
get you, I
Right,
love that.
got
So, no, we are just best around. So Judge
Yeah.
Lytle, I don't know how many of y'all know, Judge Lytle, but she was a Superior Court judge, she was a municipal court judge, and she was a juvenile judge. I don't know if people know that. But she did a lot of really awesome work. And so that's why, for me, I think sometimes that's why I fight so hard for the past and for my ancestors, because I've been under people like her, like my whole adult career. She is one of those queen warriors. She's not out in the street and all that kind of stuff.
She's a
But
silent warrior because
yeah,
she didn't work.
and she did work inside of the beast
Yes,
for real,
she did
because
work.
she was a
Right.
judge.
Inside the
She
system,
also was
yeah.
obtainable. I used to go in the courtroom and just sit and watch her do her job. She was fair. This woman was from Harlem originally, came from a very
She
big
had
family.
natural.
She had natural hair, she
She
did.
had natural hair before natural hair became,
Yeah, she did.
yeah,
Yeah, it went out of style, it didn't go out for her.
exactly.
And so, I just, my heart was sad to know that she passed like 2 days ago, so I was like, wow.
Wow.
My Academy of Dreams under Catherine Hall Trujillo, was named for her, was the Judge Alice Lytle Academy of Dreams.
Right.
And so, cause she's always been a big
Nice.
supporter, she was a sister friend, just like any other woman.
Okay,
She had a young
yeah.
man that she mentored through her pregnancy.
A few
and-
of them
Yeah,
for years.
but she was about her business, so she wasn't like this person sitting on the bench and I go golfing and I don't have nothing to do with y'all, like that was not who she
Here.
was.
Right.
Yeah, she was not, she was obtainable, you could talk to her, she had a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and I think sometimes when we be on our own, this is what freedom fight look like today, you almost sound like a goddamn idiot, because you couldn't do nothing if people like Judge Lytle hadn't came.
Right.
You know, I come from a community where people didn't just take care of themselves, they always took care of people. She didn't even have any birth children,
Wow.
that's the other part.
Wow.
She never had children, so it's like, this woman gave, like, if she had 1,000 children.
Right.
And so that's why sometimes you're gonna see me correct people when they try to act like, oh,
They
people
speaking
ain't
for the
did
whole,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, maybe in your community, the elders wasn't shit, but in my community, they
Right.
put in work, and that's why I have to put in work, because
Yeah.
they paved the way for me, and I have to pave the way for the next generations coming.
Right.
And so I just wanted to say her name today, cause I have so much love and respect for this woman, and she is my ideal of a hero. She is a hero, she is she could've just took care of herself, but she didn't, she took care of us along the way.
A lot.
And that to me is like,
Nice.
that's the real get
Beautiful.
down, and she didn't have no social media, she ain't post shit, she
Just
ain't,
did the work.
we did honor her one year at Grandma
Yeah,
Ann's.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But she was just incredible, and I usually occasionally send her cards, and so when I was sending her cards to her home, I could not put judge on it, you just have to put the person's name, because, you know, that's something to do with federal law, protecting them as judges.
Right.
But,
Oh,
yeah, but
okay.
she was just,
Yeah.
you know, every day, you never know, you probably was in her presence and didn't even know it.
Very
Those are the
humble.
kind of heroes I
Very
really
humble.
love. I
Yeah.
love people who, cause she was a judge, I got you going, she was a juvenile judge, Superior Court, and municipal. Now that's, you know, she
Yeah.
touches in every, she's also responsible for when you go to court that your kid, like, I think in June, I can't remember which court it was, but your kids don't come in with you, they go to like a play area.
Yeah.
Like she
And
came up with
children's
stuff.
court, children's
court,
room.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, so she's responsible for that, like, you know,
Oh,
so she,
really?
yeah. She also was a part of the fight for women not to be, handcuffed to journeys when they're giving birth, when they're in prison. See, this is shit people don't know.
No,
That you be
yeah.
out there fighting for some shit in the street against 2 officers that did some crooked shit, but the people in the inside that's fighting for us in areas we're not at that table.
Right.
You know, she's a judge, she's deciding people's fate,
Right.
and so we do have some fair judges, and she was one of them.
Mhm.
So, bless the
Dr.
memory, Judge Lytle.
Yeah, rest in
Yes,
peace.
rest in
Judge
power.
Lytle. Our condolences to her family, and,
Yes.
Dr. Judge Lytle was, she walked hard, she took big, heavy steps, but she walked silently. So
Yeah.
people didn't even know the work she was
Right
doing.
on.
She wasn't out here stomping her feet, saying what she was doing.
Yep.
She took giant leaps, steps, and bounds for our community and women, and she did it silently. And to me, that's the best leader warrior,
Oh.
moving in silence and stuff that's just
Right.
being done, and
Yeah.
you don't even know how it's happening. That was Judge Lytle.
Some of us
Yeah.
are standing on,
Judge
some of
Lytle.
us are standing on her footprints by saying that she didn't do shit.
Yeah.
I mean, not her personally, but people from that
From her,
town.
yeah.
See, that's another thing I
Disrespectful
remember.
is what it is.
It is disrespectful, that's why I
Right.
say, that's why I
You
can't
don't
let
know
it
your
slide.
history, you are, I call them the
That's why I can't let
2000s.
that-
I call them the 2000s.
Yeah.
'cause
That's why I
people
can't let
got
that slide
topics in
like
the
that.
2000s. And yeah.
So I also remember being around black folks like that in my community who did have like state jobs and other things that considered to be good jobs. And, basically help their community at the same time, they weren't just doing them. And I'm gonna be honest with
They
you, that's
weren't
how.
getting stopped at the office, they came back
They-
home.
That's
and-
right,
Right.
that's right. And so
Yeah.
I think, that's why we gotta start using words like some, or it's been my experience.
Right.
Because I know
Yeah.
all the black folks I grew up with that I came in contact with, and I also think about your energy. Like if you would have ever been a gunner slop too, shit, a gunner
Oh,
slop.
snot?
Well,
Yeah.
and you've been a person who hasn't always did your best, that's the energy you attract.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't attract people who don't do things, like about something, shifted me, and I can't, they'll disappear almost
Right.
from me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an energy. I'm attracted to people who have the same
Yeah.
energy I have.
Right.
I'm not attracted to people who criticize but don't do nothing but do suicide. I can't,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
really, I can't mess with those kind of people. So I remember people like Judge Lionel.
You know, I have a little, y'all don't know, I have that little file in my head, I put little pokes away, and I know how to use that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I do think, like, that's why I think I rock so hard for my ancestors and elders.
Right.
Not old people, elders. There's
It's
a
a
difference
difference.
between an elder and an old person, who basically, this lady laid it down, but it was so many more like her, like Betty, what's her last name? She used to wear these capes, and she was the director of housing and redevelopment. Betty.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Turner.
Yeah, she's come through there.
Betty Turner.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love her
Sorry.
cakes, man. That's why I think I got that cake made up
Yeah.
because she influenced my life. I think now she retired, so she's back down south in Southern California. But this is a woman who did all kinds of stuff with housing. See, that's why I think people don't be knowing. You
Right.
know, or Mr. Simon who worked for SMUD, and he was on the SMUD board, and another black man who did. See, we don't
And
know that. That's why you gotta
Right.
show people who the heroes are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So heroes don't tell you I'm a hero, see me.
Or they don't say I'm a leader.
I'm a
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Or asking you to
Those are
follow
the people
them.
who are basically at the table, and being black to them at the table meant something.
Yeah.
It didn't mean I'm a token Negro, and now you can say there's a Negro here. Because I don't think
Right.
all black folks and I can folks, y'all. But I
Right.
come from the time when black people did get on those places, they had a responsibility to look out for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And she
and
was
they
one of
knew
those
it,
people.
they knew that what
it.
they do,
Right on.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all just went,
No,
Now
that
you went
makes
where you had to
sense.
go, girl.
Yeah.
One where you had to go.
Yeah,
that's
So
right.
never
You took us
apologize
right
for
where
the
we
direction
had
you
to
have to
go.
go. You
Right
take
on.
that road and you get there.
right on.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna for something else.
Yeah.
So Yaya Afeni says, thanks for today's show. Reconnecting to you, my family. That role with Sister Ro.
Oh,
thank
thank you.
Yay.
So I just want to say that about Judge Lytle. So I just, and this is the time of the year we do part of our tradition is that like our mom is everywhere. I mean, people in our family,
Right.
they're everywhere.
Right.
So we don't. It always helps you to celebrate them, not to be sad and hide them. You have to celebrate them because
Right.
they live in you. They only die a physical death, but a spiritual death, they're everywhere.
Right.
They're
Right.
everywhere. Harriet Tubman had no children, and she probably has more children than Law Loud.
Yeah.
People love
Oh,
Harriet
right.
Tubman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's how you remember. And I love the movie Coco. So for me, I hope I would be on somebody's mantelpiece.
You
I
would.
know.
Yeah.
you
I'm
would.
like, oh, yeah. I love that. You see the movie?
Go, yeah.
Oh God. Ooh, that's such a good film.
Watch that
So
one by
I
how
watched it because you
Did you
said.
see it?
Yes,
I
me and
watched
my
that one. I
Ricardo
watched that one by
watched it.
myself.
And me
Oh,
and
cry
my
right now?
son watched it.
Oh, I thought she was crying
Oh
down.
no. Yours is making right here.
Okay. Yeah, my son, he didn't want it. He was like, I don't want to watch this, Mom. I said, I want you to watch it with me. And he watched it with me, and he felt it. Like,
Because at the end,
okay.
when she returned back to her parents, I was like, this is so good. They all on the altar, you know? It was
Right.
incredible. But that to me was a great cartoon. It explained ancestry so well.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that celebration, so when we
important.
see
It's a
people.
celebration of life. That's why
Yeah.
people kind of replace that with instead of funeral or
Right.
homegoing celebration of life. Because it's celebration.
Yeah, don't let people
Mhm.
confuse that with Halloween.
You know.
I mean, the way they do it in America, that's a part of somebody's tradition and culture. And I
You
think
know.
most indigenous cultures have that in their tradition. I mean, not trying to be funny.
Mhm.
Whether they know it or not. I know when I was growing up, I remember seeing pictures of people on the fireplace that were
Right.
no longer here.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of like an altar, you know? When you
You
talk
know,
about
it was
it.
also, yeah, real
Yeah,
talk.
we didn't even know that.
Right.
We really
Uh-huh.
didn't, but that's how we have so much respect for, our line that we come from in particular. So how do you all identify? This is a question the young ladies asked me before they went on the trip. And it was funny. So are you black? Are you African American? Are you colored? Are you Negro? Are you nigga? Are you?
I'm a black woman.
Okay.
Black woman.
And I'm a black woman, and I don't use the term African that much because I really can't pinpoint what part of Africa. So
Right.
that's why I don't use
Right.
that term, but I'm a black woman.
What does
Yeah.
it mean to be a black woman?
It means being me, loving all of my authentic self, my melanin, my skin, from the nappiness of my hair to the coarseness of my hair to the sway of my hips.
Okay.
All of that
Alright,
is about
Maya.
me, the way my thighs rub in certain
Yeah.
areas, the way my breasts hang.
Okay.
Everything about me is a black
My
woman.
bad.
From
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
You said
you
my
just-
breast
from
hanging. I
my-
said share my back.
I'm saying now, yeah. From my lips to everything.
No, I'm
everything.
being silly.
But all of it is black. All of that to me is
Hey.
a black woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. I agree. What about you, Dana?
For me, I'm a black woman, and it's funny that you guys bring this question up because I had a conversation with this gentleman at work on last Monday, and we were talking about this, and I was telling him that, before when I was advertising Boys in the Hood as catering towards black boys 8 to 12, I didn't get a lot of interest, but when I started saying African American boys from 8 to 12 years old, seemed like it started growing. I started getting more boys.
Nobody wants to be black.
I don't know if that was a
I
correlation.
love it.
No, I'm saying
But
some
he
people don't want to be black. That's
Right.
So I made that point to him, and then he told me, he said, that's because being black is nothing. He's
That's
black
not
too.
quite
No, let me finish. He's
No,
black.
I'm just saying, a lot of people feel that way. That's
That
sad.
being black. But
A lot
see,
of people,
to
they
me,
be talking about colorism all the time, baby.
I know, but black to me just means, like I'm the queen of the planet Earth. Everywhere our people was already there. Black people. Now, where you were born at, or where all of your ancestors originated from, that's an unknown for me. But I love being called a black woman. Like, I like that.
Power in that.
Right.
That's what I think. And so,
Yeah.
but he was saying, well, that's because being black is like nothing.
To him.
So that's his
Well,
truth.
But
right.
it's
So
a-
yeah. So we were having this
That's his shit.
conversation.
Don't.
No, I get what you say. I'm laughing.
It's
Dr.
sad.
Strong was like, that's his truth.
But
But I was almost like, bump that fool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Right.
thinking.
But so many people,
Girl,
so
I
many
agree.
people
I
have
agree,
a
baby.
problem
Go
with
ahead.
the term black, though. Straight up, a lot of people do. Black people are.
I also think you
I
gotta be
know,
honest
because
that
while
there
I
was
was
some.
saying black boys,
Yeah, that's why I said a lot of black people don't say I ain't black.
But I think those are young people who do not yet have knowledge. And let me tell you why I say that.
Right.
When I talk about when I'm in my classes, and this happened to me, I did this a couple of times in a lot of the schools I teach in, particularly high school. I do it in the middle schools too. But when I break down what black really means in science and how all the races come from there, and so-called races, whatever, the girls be like, damn, I'm a black woman. See, they get the E gene. E
Right.
gene is not given to African American or Panamanian or whatever. The E gene is in the black woman who may
Right.
be in all of those places.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But, so I always go right to science. And then I also know I'm not trying to help the system of white supremacy continue their work by denying myself.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
That's where African American
Because they're
all the
I get the,
I mean, that's where all the other.
I gotta ask y'all something.
I get the African American. I mean, here's the thing. I identify as a black woman. What else could I identify with? I'm black.
Right.
However,
Right.
I'm okay with African American only because I'm definitely of African descent. Couldn't tell you where I'm from in Africa.
Yeah.
But I know I am an African woman. I also want those ancestors in particular. Those are the ancestors I most care about. I'm not trying to claim. Y'all can claim your rapist ancestors. That's fine. That's on you. I'm not claiming mine. That shit was like claiming the devil. I'm not doing that shit. However, American is what I really am too, because something in me is a part of the American
Absolutely.
Right.
experience, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also in
Your
claiming-
blood is in this soil.
yeah, that's right. It's
Let's
so
keep
as
it
the
real.
Afro-Cuban
Let's
say.
keep it real.
They say we're Afro-Cuban because our blood is soaked up in this land. This place is just as much
Let's keep it
ours
real.
as anybody else.
Absolutely.
So kind of along those lines.
Mhm.
But also, I also want to make sure people understand that me being here, while I still got African up there, was not by choice. So I like if you're African and
Yes.
you just got here, you're from Ghana, you're Ghanaian American. You're not African American. If you are from Cuba, you're here. You're a Cuban American. You're not an African American.
Right.
There is something very unique to our
It's a different story.
experience.
Different
And I think we honor our ancestors by recognizing that.
Yep.
It's not a bad, it don't mean I diss people. You know, it's funny,
It is
I
what
work
it
with a lot
is.
of black people who are immigrants as well, and they get the benefit, as well as sometimes the curse, of being put in with African Americans, which help them to slide through sometimes. Because we will welcome you, which is part of our benefit and part of our downfall.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yeah.
has a plus and a minus to it.
Yep.
And so, I think identity-wise, I definitely am a black woman first and foremost, and then everything else is just under that umbrella.
Right.
That's how I look
Yeah.
at it. Cause
Yeah.
sometimes I do feel like a Negro when I have to deal with people
Yeah,
and not
yes,
come
yes,
from them
yes,
like,
yes.
let me, then sometimes I feel like for real, when I feel like I gotta pull my finger out, like, boom, like, what we
Right.
doing here? So, I'm all of these other things because that's in the African American experience.
That's part of
you
your
get to
makeup.
be all of that, yeah, to survive this place called America.
America,
It's not
right.
an easy
You
task.
gotta wear all them hats.
You know,
Depending on what
sometimes,
I'm walking, I gotta put on my, pleasant hat. I
yep,
gotta put on my gangster hat. I gotta go to school, put on my mama hat. I gotta, yeah,
That's
just
real
depend on
talk.
what hat. Absolutely.
that's real talk. So
Yeah.
the kids asked me that, it was awesome because, we laughed, because one of them said, sometimes I feel like a Negro, and I started laughing because I can relate to, they was explaining why, because they're like one of the few black kids on certain college campuses, like UC Vegas, and they was saying how, that's the
Feel
way people
single out like a
see
nigga. Ooh, a
it.
nigga on campus.
Right.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I just wonder, so when you think about, and here's the tricky part to this, y'all, when you think about your one line back, being your mother or your father, how do you think they identify?
My mom probably thought of herself as a Negro. And the black woman too. Black
Yeah,
woman
I
slash
think my
Negro.
mom- Yeah.
She was a Negro slash black woman.
Yeah.
I mean, that term. 'Cause
I
I
get
think
that.
black was coming in, I think she, as a little girl, she probably was a Negro.
Negro,
And she
yeah,
progressed
'cause
into a
that
black
was
woman
one,
as she got, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real talk.
Negro, cause that's
She's from Florida.
that's what she
No.
grew up with. I mean, when you look at my birth certificate, that's what's on there.
Yeah,
The Negro was on your?
Yes, and it was handwritten.
Wow, that's kind of deep. What
Uh,
about you?
Sharice Muhammad says Jesse Jackson started calling black people African Americans. Call me black.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm gonna say too, also that African American also came from the same people who came with that term of color. Those are the educated, what do you call those, intellectuals, cause they love to come up with shit. I don't mean to say it like that, but they do like to come up with stuff like, this is who we are this week. Because that's what I learned in school. One of the young girls in my class came up with a really nice word for struggle. It was, damn, I should have wrote that down. And it was so like, I said, that's so cute. Somebody made, she said, yeah, my teacher went to so-and-so. I said, yeah, they just made that up. Just call it what it is. It's called racism. Let's
Right.
not dress it up.
Right.
Let's not do that. Jews don't, I've never met a Jew who dressed up the word Holocaust. Never gonna see it. Never gonna happen.
And I've never
Right.
seen a Jew refer to Hitler in a endearing way, ever in my
Y'all,
life.
you better shut your damn
Yeah.
That's another thing that they
Ever.
was talking about this Monday at work. They were talking about, there's evidence that proves that the Holocaust never happened. I'm not even
Who-
asking
who
y'all to
said that?
respond.
No,
The
no,
same guy that was saying because black is
Well,
nothing.
he sounds like an ass.
So y'all,
Yeah.
why we
When a
all
white man
started?
beat him- when a white man come for him and beat him down.
No, let me tell you
Y'all
what.
better not be out there marching. It's not because he was black. It's because he did something
Ah.
wrong.
Stupid.
Let me tell y'all what we all did. Why we all started backing
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Cause there's some stuff we ain't touching.
Yeah.
We all started backing
That's when you
up.
do that.
And that's when you go back to your desk.
Right.
Yeah, that fool don't count. I try not to count ignorant ass people.
I can't.
I think there's a list for those kind of people. I'm not into his.
Right.
Somebody said once that we shouldn't throw people away. There's trash everywhere. That's why we have dumps and shit like that. It's okay to throw trash in the trash. I'm not into recycling somebody's pissy couch. Like, why would I do that?
I'm not refurbishing that mattress.
Right. Why would I do that? So I don't even say it like that. We just I think
That's
these
real
are terms.
talk.
That's what I'm saying. Being a leader means
And
more
I
than
think
just talking. You have to make
that
hard
also
decisions.
comes from our experience. We didn't have a lot, so we always trying to see the good or repurpose something. Like, no, we're not gonna turn that old futon into a throw that shit in the garbage. And
Right.
even with black people sometimes, I know he killed 5 people and he molested 6 kids and he was a drug dealer but we gotta welcome him back. No, we don't.
Right
So
on.
yeah, I get it. I get it.
I
all.
always
No.
say, just send them to like the redeemers. I'm not a redeemer.
Y'all can't hear, but this church is over here. Like
That's how
they
I'm
bringing this bass
I
over
think
here.
they
It's hard for me
rehearse
to-
it before they
it's
show
hard. I'm gonna have to
starts.
go step
But
in
it's
there.
all good.
They
Yeah,
start off a song first.
yeah, but they could be rehearsing.
They start off a song. I'm gonna have to
So
stop
I did. So you said, Mama. I think our mom could have been
Negro
Negro,
and then white
little girl,
to
then
black.
black. What do you think her? What about your dad's?
My dad he probably was always black. My dad, he probably was once again a Negro. But you remember, Dad was a part of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was an activist
He was
back
into
in
the
the
black
day.
stuff, so he probably started off as a Negro and progressed to a black person. Black, being called black.
That's so true.
What about
So
y'all?
was a Negro not conscious?
No, Negro is like the latest term, like
how they-
African American.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So somebody said,
So
"What are you?"
So with my dad grew up as a sharecropper. So he would tell you if he was here, he would say, well, they refer to us as niggas.
And Negro, then
But
brown.
how did he refer to himself?
How's he identified?
How does he identify?
Now or back then?
Both, like you just said, as a child, I could see you being a Negro, that's all you knew as a young person,
Yeah.
you was a Negro. But then as you grow up, you develop, like, we're clearly black now.
Yeah.
Right,
We're
right.
clearly with that, even though we have
They
the
want to pan
subtitles.
African something, this,
Right,
that,
so
and
you know, now, you know.
Oh, I need to ask him. I really need to ask him that.
Yeah.
How he identified himself with.
How he identified himself back then, because the way he grew up was different.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I need to
that.
talk to him about that, John.
I just kinda
Yeah,
wonder
that's
about that.
No,
next
that's a
question.
good, that's a
What about
good
your dad?
question.
That would be a good question, cause my dad was military, so probably Negro, nigga.
Oh, yeah, he
Right.
When it was all
military, they was saying that.
we do they call it niggas, we saying what did we call ourselves.
So, how do we identify? But I get
But
that.
I mean, you know,
All the
if
time.
that's,
Yeah,
you
cause
know
there's
what I
some
mean,
people,
that's.
man, this generation, we're like, I'm a nigga. I mean, you may hear that from some young
I
people.
heard
today.
Richard Pryor used to refer to himself.
Oh, he the one who
as
let the N-word out the box.
And Richard Pryor made
Richard
niggas
Pryor.
be less offensive to us, that's what I think
Yeah.
he made it so it wouldn't hurt us so much. He-
Right.
And my favorite MF. He used to say that
I
so
say, I
often.
do that right now.
But when he went to Africa and came back, he stopped using the word.
Mm.
That's what I said, like, to us, it's less offensive, but also at that time,
He
see,
learned something.
yeah, I think he started to understand, like, sometimes how you refer to yourself as, it gives other people the permission to be
do it.
okay with doing that.
Mhm.
And I remember once hearing somebody say, even in the times of the segregated South, and they may have seen us some way, we didn't buy into it. You can call me whatever you wanna call me, but I knew who I was, so I didn't even have to
Right.
respond to you to call me the N-word, you know, with an ER or an A, whatever y'all want to dress, it's all the same word. I hate to have a newsflash, hate to have to tell you that. However, they knew who they were in their heart. You couldn't take away their humanity.
Cora Lorraine, which is one of our sponsors, Khadijah, she said, my father being from the South always considered himself as being black Negro, and now black.
Right on. Right
So
on.
Negro was on the checkbox.
Yeah, that's the word we
That
heard
was the
that
only, that
decade.
decade was just.
That decade. And then
Okay.
we
It
was
was
colored.
colors.
So the question I wanna ask y'all,
Okay.
are they trying to change the categories? No, cause
Khadijah, you dying over
I got
here.
a code,
I'm
cause they
sorry.
make me laugh.
So, you know, they
They're
could probably
probably-
change a lot of stuff. We probably trying to help them do it.
Right.
I
I
thought I
We
heard
buy
It'd probably be
into
black
it.
people want to change it to take the black or
Some
African
of us
off.
being black is so painful.
Yeah, we probably.
Right.
No, it is. It's so painful.
I love being black.
No, I agree. You know I do. But it's sad because I just wish we did have a category for people who were not black.
Or didn't
Well,
want
they
to.
didn't want to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for
How they
real.
had
No,
that,
yeah. I think there should be a category like,
It should, they have the non-gender box, they should have the, I don't know if I'm black, but like, not
I
sure.
don't know
black
if I'm
box.
black.
I know
think,
what
I
you
think
can
this would
identify.
help us make the case for reparations.
Hell yeah,
I think
more
if we
money for
got
us.
the black people together who were not black, they don't get shit. And then the people who have been blacker than black,
Blacker
and
than
the
1,000
stipulation,
midnights.
and the stipulation should be if you stop being black, then all your money, you don't get to get any of
You
that
don't get
inheritance.
reparations.
No!
You give your check back.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get to get any of that, all your stuff get frozen. People be black, they be black all day.
Oh,
They be
yeah,
on
Oh,
you
that
do.
chocolate
You be
black.
black.
Everybody walking around getting
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord Jesus. How do you
Black
think,
and the
how do you
Kardashians.
think our grandparents considered themselves to be?
Ooh.
Not how other people see them, because of the
No,
era.
I
Because our grandmother on my mom's side was born in 1906 or 3.
Mhm.
1903.
I-
Cause
I
my grandmother had my mom when she was really young. I mean older. That's why she's that, you know, mom's the youngest out of 12, which 9 lived. So, their mom, our grandmother Alice was born in like either 1903 or 1906. How do you think? We don't know much, I mean, you know.
I don't know if they even gave it thought like we did, or they saw ourselves as just,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't even
I'll
have a
take
thought.
that. I'll take that.
They
Yeah,
might just
I'll
thought
take
themselves as a boy or girl, you know, back then they were just thought so less of, so, you know,
A
they knew they were
nigger.
black, but yeah, this a nigga,
A
everybody,
Negro woman.
yeah.
I think
That's what they
that
call
that
themselves in the
pain-
slave narrative, right?
Yeah, but I also think some of that
Oh,
stuff
that's
is
what I
things
was-
that were people projected onto them. So I think
Right.
there's dualities. Every human being, even in the worst of slavery times, there's always been a duality
A
in black
conscious-
folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so part of it is the white man see me as this dumb nigga, I don't read, I don't write, I don't have feelings, you know, I'm a piece of furniture, I have no value. But when we're with each other, and we notice, we always have a value. I think being black is something that we just were, honestly. And that's why I think someone has such a negative tone on black, because we see the darkest of us in
That's the
particular
worst.
get
Uh-huh.
treated very bad, because when we do shit, we make reference to complexion. This black
Right.
motherfucker, this black, this
Mhm.
black. We make reference by
Yeah.
color.
Mhm.
And we ain't just started that like since Richard Pryor.
No.
Right.
We've always done it as a
Mhm.
people,
Right.
which is why some of us have that negative connotation on black.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, my grandmother was deaf and mute, so, I don't even know if she got to hear some of the crazy stuff that messed up your view of yourself.
Psyche,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause she was deaf, you know, no, I'm pretty sure she's seen some things.
Absolutely, or picked it up, you can
Yeah,
feel it.
because some of her children were
Mhm.
dark, like Uncle Eddie,
Mhm.
and then some of them was like Aunt Winnie.
Mhm.
I mean, when you look at the spectrums, I think
Yeah.
Aunt Winnie's like the lightest aunt we got. But she ain't complained, we don't play
She
this
wasn't
shit
even
out.
light, you know,
Yeah, she had it
lighter
out.
than the others, that's what
Yeah,
it
lighter than others, right, so she had a good spectrum, but we're all black though. Well, she didn't have a white husband and nothing like that, her husband was black, he was deaf, and she was deaf, so, you
Oh,
know,
they both
they
were
both were,
deaf.
they met at the school for the deaf.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, part of it is our grandmother, supposedly black, we know this to be true, they did a lot of experimentations on black folks, all the modern medicine that we know
Mhm.
was done on black people.
Right.
Because, again, no value, you know what I
Right.
mean? So part of it is that she had the scarlet fever, when she was in the hospital, they took her eardrums out.
So, yeah.
That had nothing to do with the scarlet fever. And then I think her husband, Grandpa Newman, I'm trying to think of his first name,
Oh,
Jesse,
you
was,
just
no,
scared. You just
man,
made
I
me
can't remember.
sad.
he got thrown from a horse, that's how he was deaf, cause they had like a ranch up in Germantown. So, I'm just giving you like a little backdrop, so it's one thing for somebody else to see you a certain way,
How do you
and then
see
it's
this?
another way how you
You
see yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
You
you're
know, and I
right.
think that they were some strong people, cause they didn't let that stuff
They
shake them
had
at
to
all.
be,
Right.
had to be.
I mean, they still was building stuff and
Had their
maintaining
own
stuff, and
neighborhoods,
had their
own
own
every,
neighborhood.
yep.
They were together as community, they helped out each other, you could
Two-parent
borrow a stick of
homes,
butter.
yep,
Yeah.
You know, they help buy homes for
You
each
could
other.
buy a cup
We
of
have a home in
sugar.
our family that's been in our family since 1902. That's when Gigi lived.
Yeah.
That's my great grandmother's house and my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been in our family
Oh,
for a minute.
nice.
That 1922 Swain been on there for a minute. It's on all the documents from, you know, so I'm just saying, when you look at that, they had to have some kind of sense of themselves, even if they didn't know they were,
You didn't know
From
where it
Africa.
came from.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
they knew that. And we know Africa is a made-up name for the continent too, no disrespect. But, you know, that's
Right.
probably not what the Africans were calling it.
Right.
They could
Right.
have been calling it something else or whatever, you know, even all those countries in Africa, those were maps drawn by the Europeans.
Right.
Come on.
And even inside of, let's say, Nigeria, I love a Nigerian brother broke it down, he said, the white man was the one who came up with all these tribes. Cause he always does that. He came here, the Cherokees, you're not black, I'm mixed with Cherokee. That's not even a real goddamn tribe, those are Salakis. But the white man came up with Cherokee, the white man came up with, Apache, which means
Yep.
cutthroat.
Our coworker, yep.
But you know, we don't know,
Family
we're
lived
busy
on the
trying to be
reservation.
something that we really are not. We're really busy trying to escape this experience of
Of our ancestors.
of our
period.
ancestors.
Yeah, like
But we're
yeah.
not gonna escape because that's why
It's in our
45 is
DNA.
here.
Right.
It is in our DNA, but his job is to jog that memory. Because I think when we forget our ancestors, that's when people pull the same game on you.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
that's why you need to study the people who came before you. So when you see them pulling out the same line,
That's why if you go, like, I'm gonna go back to that Suge Knight documentary, when I said he got caught up, had he really studied history and looked at Motown, all the other things, and really studied history, his outcome may have been a bit different.
Right.
Mm.
and we know that's hard because, you know, that's what I'm saying, being a leader is hard because being a leader has a lot of responsibility. Being a leader means you can't go and do just other niggery stuff that other people do. And I said
You
niggery,
gotta step out.
you know, you gotta be like, I'm not gonna be able to do certain, it's not easy.
You gotta
being a
lead.
leader.
Right.
It's a word there for a reason.
The president of Ghana, Rawlings, talked about how he wasn't really close to his daughters
Mm-hmm.
because he was he was at war. I mean, he was trying to build his country up, so he didn't want anything to happen to them,
Mhm.
and then he'd be so close to them.
Right.
That's mark of a real leader warrior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Talking about
Because
Jerry Rollins.
yeah, Jerry
Right.
Rollins, I think I
Yeah.
can't remember his first name, but he talked about that, and so now he's still around, and so
Yeah.
you know, I think that's that part of being a leader. Like some of us want to be the leader until their hard
They
decisions
don't wanna
can be
put
made.
in
And then,
work, yeah.
yeah, then it's like,
Right.
well, I gotta go on vacation, shit. You know, like
we
sometimes,
busting heads tonight. Showing up.
the
So
president.
they be
Right.
like, I'm tired.
Yeah, we busted heads tonight, is you showing up or not?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to stay up all night and make
What
a million
you
phone
say?
calls. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then, you know, you can't stay up all night and make a million phone calls. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, I gotta get some sleep. No, you gotta grind like you would grind on your
Yeah.
slave job.
Mhm.
You gotta grind.
Yeah.
You know, this is the reward that shows up a little different.
Yeah.
The reward is different
The
when you
reward
when
is
you
much
lead.
better.
Yeah, But it's hard, you
Long
not,
lasting.
and sometimes you won't live to see it
Exactly, that's why I
anymore,
said it'll be a
Right.
long lasting, it'll be a long
Yes.
lasting reward.
you know?
Right.
But how many of y'all would really sacrifice yourself for your children that, you know, if you would,
Absolutely.
okay?
I would take, I would take a bull today, I would sacrifice my life today if it would give my children stability, longevity, and a
Oh,
good
yeah.
life, in a heartbeat, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
My nieces and
Without a
nephews, I do the same for not just my children, my nieces and nephews, if
Right
it
on.
came down to that, without a heartbeat.
Anybody
Right.
else?
Yeah,
I
me too.
will,
I would
yeah.
definitely
I
sacrifice.
have a
for my
tattoo on my
children.
body.
Robin Black says that sounds like
Yeah, what tattoo
parenting.
do
It,
you
it
have?
does. It
Yeah.
sounds like, it sounds like the ideal of parenting, but I know some people mean parenting means I gotta have something for me. Cause I've heard parents say that, I
I've
be
heard
like,
that too. It's like,
you brought them here, player. I mean, I don't say it like that. I do a lot of
I know
home visits.
parents that are mad at their kids because they gotta spend time with their kids or buy something for their kids. Like certain children in my program, their parents be mad because they gotta come to a meeting. This is your child, but they really be upset with the kid. Like, gotta come to this damn school for this meeting. It's your child.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah,
get
that's,
it. People don't, yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I agree, that does sound like parenting, Robin, you're absolutely correct, but I think all of us don't have the same definition.
At all.
That's like, you know, that mother wit, everybody don't get that because they had a baby,
Yeah, that's not what
right.
it-
you know?
You think they're
Uh,
supposed to.
No days off, right on. She said no days off. I mean, I know,
That's
like, oh my
right.
God, I need a break, or I remember hearing stories of people say their mom would leave them in the house and be out partying and don't come back for days, or. I'm dead serious,
Oh, it's
I do a lot of, you know, counseling, like, with people, I just be like, well, my mother would, oh my God.
Yeah, but
It's so funny that you say that because like sometimes my children, if I have a, you know, a couple of meetings during the week and they be like, Mom, you was gone, but I wasn't at the club. You
Right.
knew where I
But see,
was
they
at.
don't
That's
care.
a little- You came back though. I'm talking about people who have picked their mate before them, they
Yeah.
met some.
Or will leave their kids in an unsafe environment to go party. Or
Yeah.
hang out with a man or hang out with their friends. I know what you're talking about.
I've seen so
Mhm.
much of that,
Yeah.
in my work and just talking with young people, and then their ideals on mate and men, and what does it mean to have a boyfriend, or, you know, it means
Right.
that that person comes first beyond the children you have,
Yeah.
or, one of my girls talked about her dad, you know, he don't come see them, but his new wife, has kids and he spends all his time with them.
Oh, wow.
And I was
Right.
like, damn, like, I just listen for most part. I never speak against people's parents. I always try to say to my kids, so, you know, at some point you're gonna be an adult
So
yourself.
how you gonna do it?
And so how are you gonna handle
Mhm.
that? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
that's
try
a
not to
good
ever
way.
be like,
Yep, I
your
do the
fucking
same thing
parents
with my
ridiculous.
kids.
I don't say that. I wanna say
Yeah,
that.
like this
Yeah.
mother- Yeah,
I wanna say that, but I don't say that. I just say, well, you know, everybody learns a little differently. I never ever speak against people's parents, ever. Even they get on my last goddamn nerves and everything, I'll be like, well, you know, see how you in here getting your work done? Maybe your parent didn't have that. I always go right to that kind
Right.
of way of
And
talking.
speaking on that, on there you got grow up sayings.
Oh, God, sayings when you
That's
were
why I said
growing
so
up.
speed into.
Ooh, so I know the one my mom used to always talk about is birds of a feather flock together, guilty by association.
What about this?
Yeah.
If you lie, you will steal, and if you steal, you will kill.
Oh, that was
What about
Ooh.
this one?
Ooh.
Lay down with dogs.
You wake up with fleas.
Yeah, they had, it was so many of them old sayings.
You ain't
These
gonna catch
be
nothing but a
itching, too.
cold.
Yeah,
You going out there, you ain't gonna catch nothing but a cold.
I like going to
But
see a
you
man about a dog.
got something powerful. I see
Yeah, I
you
mean-
coming.
Going to see a man about a dog.
Right.
That took me years to understand, what the hell? Why would you go see a dog that late? Like, how did you go see a dog? You know, when you're a kid, you don't understand what the hell that means. Like, what does she mean? She wanted to see a man about a dog.
Or like when I told Love this morning, I told her, I said, you better quit that. If you don't quit that, you're gonna kiss the baby. And so that means that you could just forget it. You can hang it up, right?
Right.
It's about, wow,
Why she
I like
said,
that.
why did Love say, but Nandi, we don't even got no baby.
Oh, God. I used to hear the way you get him is the way he'll leave you.
Ooh. Or what
Yeah.
about this one? This is Boss Game 101, y'all.
Oh.
The one he always talking about, that's the one he liked. And
It's
so what they would say, like if your
They
man,
not can't with her.
no, if your man, y'all let me get it out.
They not
Yeah.
can't.
If your man always talking about one of your friends,
He gonna get busted in his mouth.
that's the one he like.
Why you keep talking on
Yeah,
this way?
wow.
Right.
Yes.
Hey, this is a classic one too. This is some underhand stuff. Dog, bring a bone, take a bone.
Hell yeah, that's true though.
Break that down.
That's a
A
real.
dog who brings you gossip, a person brings you gossip, will
Mhm.
gossip about
About
you.
you.
Will take your stuff and then go share it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Dog, bring a bone, take a bone. Kim is on here.
Yes.
Kim got one. You see Kim?
wet in one hand and shit in the other. See which one fills up faster.
Hey, that was, that's classic right there.
Yeah.
I like that one. That me too. I like that one. That's what's up. Yo,
And
sayings are.
the
I love
long with
sayings.
that one
Me
is,
too.
don't let me slap you into next week.
Oh.
Middle
Or I
one.
brought you.
I brought you in and I'll take you out.
And you can let the doorknob hit you
With
with
the
the
door
door
switches.
And, oh, this is a good one. People in hell want ice water.
Right.
Yes.
I never thought about ice
I
water in
just
hell.
told my son that. He told me he wanted something to do game with Kwanzaa. So I said, well, we don't even do that kind of stuff, Kwanzaa. I said, the people in hell want ice water. And he, Mama, we're going out here, buddy. I just told him.
Oh,
Right.
no, I used to hate mommies to say that. You be like,
I ain't even asking for no
damn.
water, Mama.
Yeah, people in hell. But think, I heard this one time, and this stuck me forever. You remember they used to say, she looked like hell sued for murder?
Hell yeah. That means you are ugly as hell. Hell. You know what hell looks like?
Hell
Hell is where
sued
you
for
murder.
murder.
Hell sued for murder means you are ugly
Yeah,
as
that's
Oh,
you,
wow.
look straight up crazy.
ugly as sin.
Hell sued, that's impossible to sue hell for murder.
I'm
It's
trying to think of
impossible.
some more sayings.
Or
I know, right?
shitting high cotton, wiping yourself with the leaves. That means you living real good. Or living high off the hall. That's the same,
Okay.
that's the same meaning.
Wow.
I love sayings. Cause I'm like, what that person
Yeah,
say?
yeah,
Say that
yeah.
again.
Or
Right.
what about this one? This is from, I think it's from Kenya. A devil you know is better than a devil you don't know.
Oh, that's like the lesser of two
Yeah,
evils.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
true.
yeah.
But it's still a
Bird
devil
in the hand beats.
two in the bush.
There you go.
Damn.
I'm
That's
sitting here really
deep.
trying to think of something.
No,
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like,
Because usually a
But
saying,
when you hear them, they be like,
because
yes.
a saying usually hits you when you need to know it without
Right.
people telling you that they know it.
Yes.
Uh-oh, there's another one on
Yeah,
the
but if you from the Caribbean, Chicken Mary Hawk is near.
Okay, break that down.
Ooh, break that down.
I want to use that.
Chicken Mary Hawk is near. Yeah,
Mary,
yeah.
I think it's the Mary part. Mary is happy, right?
happy.
Okay, you have to break that down so I can see what that
Something
means.
is happiness is near.
Why he ain't in here? Because Keon from Jamaica. You know, Keon like, that means he always, he always break the term. I'm like,
Don't get so happy that you get distractions.
bam, got it.
Right.
Bam,
Okay.
got it.
Chicken Mary Hawk.
Ooh.
Okay.
Got it, got you. Right on, right on. Okay, I got that one. Use that.
Don't get so happy.
Okay.
Okay, got you.
Mm.
Damn. That means I love saying.
Yeah.
I just always love
Yeah.
saying. And people
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
spit it on you when you need to know it.
And you
Right.
And you
really
be sitting
need
there
it.
like, wow.
Drop
Like,
that little
And you be
Yeah.
devastated. They going on.
They
They
got that
doing
little
that.
jewel on you, make
And
you
they,
think.
yeah. Oh, y'all. Or don't take a wooden nickel.
Mm.
ooh,
Because you know nickels are
and
made out of wood.
don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Mouth.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Don't
Don't look a gifted horse in the mouth.
And that's why there's so many single black women, because men be looking at all these gifted horses and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
or
that's-
let your eyes be bigger than your belly. I see that all the time.
Oh,
when you eat
yeah.
food.
Yes.
Don't let your
yeah.
eyes be bigger than your belly.
That's what you
Okay.
said.
My mom like, cause you will be eating that tomorrow. I mean, that, you know? My mom like, put some pasta foil over back over that, cause she's gonna eat that for lunch.
Right.
Anybody ask you put all that food on your plate? Anybody
Yeah.
ask you to do that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
damn
Yeah.
spaghetti,
Yeah.
damn
Yeah.
goulash.
I know. That's why I was,
Mhm.
yeah. That's so
Damn, those dishes. What's the dish? Oh, he's just another one.
That's what my mother would say when I was cruising for a bruising.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm loving this conversation. Well-planned topics and discussion, ladies.
Thank you,
So all of us,
Dee.
our mothers are our ancestors, right?
Thank
What
you.
is one of the sayings that, yeah, all of us are.
We
And
should
we're
do
now
something for
40.
Mother's Day this
Yeah,
year.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
No, I am
What
too.
is one of the things that your mom did that make you laugh, like bust the hell up laughing? Like a funny ass memory.
Oh, I got so many.
Mm.
But one
You got to
funny
pick
one.
one.
Who was so many?
And my mom was hilarious.
This one involves Yolanda, but this was a really. I'm gonna do two. I have to. Really.
Okay, go ahead.
Both of them involve both of us, but
Okay.
one of my mom had a stroke, and it was a cricket bug on the floor.
Oh, damn.
And my mom wanted to kill the bug, but Londa was there. We was all there, but
I
Londa
was
in
supposed
the
to
room.
kill her, but I was
Londa
scared.
was scared to kill the cricket bug, so my mom didn't have one side didn't work. So my mom tried to get up and like hobble, but her and Londa both fall trying to kill the bug. That was the funny. Because Londa was scared, was scared to kill this
Yeah.
cricket.
But
So
my
that
mother was brave. She was like,
Yeah.
oh, but then I couldn't get her back up.
Yeah,
y'all,
he's
so.
like, get
I
in
had to
there.
prop her up and everything till somebody came in that could help me. I think Ross was mad. Somebody came over was mad as hell.
Yeah, and the,
Like, why is it so damn scary?
yeah. And the other funny thing, my mom came, me and Lana were living in Oakland at the time. We had an apartment in Oakland. And my mom came down there to visit us. She came down there to visit us for Thanksgiving, and she went next week. Our neighbor, this man cooked his behind off. My mama wore the wrong shoes, 2 different shoes on Thanksgiving. They was both black, but she walked around all day.
One was green, one was blue.
They was both dark colors.
They were dark colored.
And she wore separate shoes the whole Thanksgiving, and we didn't even know. That was funny.
Then she said, Mom, she just started laughing like at herself, laughing. Then Mom, she said, I got on 2 different kinds of shoes. And we was like, I got on 2. Man, we didn't even notice it. My mother was dying. That was so funny.
The whole day she had a
But
shoes
that's
on.
good that she was laughing at
My
herself.
mother was, oh God.
Yeah.
My mother
Oh,
was
thank
hilarious.
you. She said y'all made me cancel
I know.
an appointment today. I couldn't leave y'all. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We talking about the funniest moment with your mom.
What is yours?
Finney, could you tell us a funny moment with your mom? Because I'm pretty sure you got some funny ones too. Because those were 2
Yeah,
good
those
ones.
I know I so many, but those
Me
were
too.
like classics.
Some
But
classics. What was y'all's? Any fun that your mom's like, oh my God, this is hilarious?
I'm
Your mom.
trying to think.
For me, it would be my listening to my mom and dad talk. So I used to always listen to my mom talk on the phone or talking to my dad. But you just sit there and be quiet.
see, another saying, excuse me, be seen and not heard.
Oh,
Yes. And I
Jesus.
mastered that
Yeah,
because
me
I
too.
love to hear
You said you mastered that?
adult conversation, girl. And I was a little girl, but they just
It's
seemed
information,
so
girl.
yeah.
Information.
So my dad would be telling my mama something, and my mom would be like, "Boy, go play on the freeway during 3 hours." Or she would just the way they would communicate, the way they would talk. To me, that was just so funny. Cause my dad would just be like thinking that he just putting his foot down or whatever, but my mom really ran the house though. Cause she knew whatever she wanted, she was gonna get. But you know how you make him think like
Absolutely.
you know.
Like he came up with it.
Right, and so
Yeah,
just
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to their
Yeah.
conversations would just be really funny, and just how my mom, she had this way about her where she would always want to say something positive. And so even if something was crazy, she'll try to think of a positive spin on it.
Right.
So that would be, that kind of stuff would just be funny to me. I can't even think of just like one thing.
Yeah,
but
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fun. That's a classic. That's a classic. You have one for your mom yet?
No.
Because you rap now.
It's just so much.
Rice, too many
A hot
memories.
mess.
Yeah. I remember the time when we played Jerry Springer at the house. We used to do these things. We used to reenact stuff we seen on TV. And my mother was supposed to be the guest, the secret guest witness. You remember that?
Yes.
And so my mother was laughing so hard, and when Khadijah was approaching her to question her, like, we was doing a court show. We was doing a court show. And my mom started laughing. He said, "She's hilarious. She's delirious." Remember? My mother was busted up laughing. My mother was so funny.
so she couldn't
She was the
win.
guest. She couldn't because we wouldn't have my
We
mom
was doing
sit.
a skit, so we was doing all kind of.
It was a judge
making up our
show.
court show, so we was like, and
Yeah.
you did this, and my
It
mom
was
couldn't even
secret
play her
witness.
character because she was laughing
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
that.
that's so
That was so funny.
Yeah, we used to do Jerry Springer and all. We used to
We
like
just reenact some of the shows though.
Yeah.
So Yay Feeney says, my mother would make me go pick my own. Ooh.
Yeah, now
That's
that
what my
Get rid of that.
grandmother, I thought that
Get
was
rid of
wrong.
that's a real thing.
Jerry.
That's a real thing. I was like, they do that down south because we don't do that in San
She
Francisco.
from the Caribbean.
Okay, no, but it was devastating for me as a child coming from San Francisco, having to go pick my own switch. That was devastating.
That's
to me.
until it became a child abuse. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she said my mother would make me go pick my own switch to beat me when I was in somebody's mango tree and didn't do my chores. Go pick a switch and don't bring me that I would have to use my belt. Don't
Yeah.
bring me no little scrawny
Yeah,
one.
don't bring no twig.
Don't bring
She
no
got to
twig.
go
I
out.
want
She come
you to
back
feel it.
Y'all,
God
I was
forbid
just
it break.
I want
telling
you to
my
feel it.
daughter about that this
Don't
morning.
let it break.
My two cousins grew up in Texas, Karen and Gloria Denise, and they were just walking, going to get the switch. And me, I'm looking at her, back at her on the porch.
I'd have been out there picking that
Gone.
stuff forever.
Y'all, that was
Oh, my
devastating.
Don't
to
let
me.
it break.
My mom ain't don't have. I used to hate when my mom used to go to work and then we not supposed to do something and we do what the neighbors tell her.
Oh yeah, the neighbors
Yeah.
before crack cocaine, the neighbors told.
Hey, yo, look here. They said,
Dana.
your mama said,
No, but
your mama say, sit your butt on that, sit your butt on
Dana
the stool.
said,
Yeah.
Dana said before crack cocaine.
Oh,
it was
Miss
so
Robinson.
bad.
But that's why I gotta
Oh.
figure out how we're going to lay out this
I
conversation about.
know.
Right.
Excuse me. the impact of crack, and I think we need to really talk about that, because a lot of young people, also, I think some of the other crazy stuff we're seeing with young people is because nobody explained to them that era.
What happened? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like a time, like,
They think
Yeah.
right now is the normal time.
y'all
Yes,
see that
Yeah.
movie where the plane was missing for 5 years, and people on the plane don't know 5 years
Lost?
has passed? No,
Right.
this is in movie theaters now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
the plane got lost for 5 years, and the people on the plane didn't age or nothing. They look exactly the same, and everything in the world has changed, and they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Right
I
on.
saw that.
So that's what it's like now. Like they don't know what happened during that time.
And you
It's
know,
like,
what, you know,
yeah.
you know what I liken that to, y'all, is slavery.
Mhm.
Like, people
Yeah.
did not talk about slavery because it was so harsh,
Mhm.
Right.
and I think that
yeah.
also impacted our identity.
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
Jim
Because we didn't
Crow
want
or
you-
sharecropping.
yeah.
But it's about in terms, and all that was brutal, but it was something about when
Yeah,
you're a
real
grandmother and you're talking to your grandchild, and they're asking you, what was it like when you was a little girl and you was a slave
And you
or
don't-
a
yeah,
enslaved
yeah.
person?
Mhm.
You don't say, you can't come up with no joyful,
No.
You can't paint, you can't paint a
Yeah.
you can't, right, and so they
Yeah.
just wouldn't tell you.
Yeah,
They wouldn't lie to you, they just wouldn't tell
you
you.
worked a lot.
And I think
Yeah.
that, right, and I think that we owe it to young people to have this conversation around the crack era, because that's what some of this stuff is, so we could
I agree.
what do you call that?
Depress.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
debrief, but
Decompress
also let me take
The
something apart.
layers, start
Yeah.
pulling the layers
Detox.
off.
Detox with, something
De-stress.
Dissect, dissect,
Dissect all that
Dissect.
issues off. But I think we got to have that conversation so we can explain what crack did, how it impacted us in families, financial wise,
Yeah.
home
Right.
ownership, jobs, businesses, what happened with businesses, people who started, I know people who went to school, became nurses, whatever, they was on crack.
Yeah.
What
It
happened?
did not, yeah.
Why were people choosing to be on crack?
Right.
Everything was like I went to a party and I was dating Ray Charles and he was smoking, I was smoking. That's not everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that's real.
That's
talk.
what
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
what
real
was
talk.
going on in your life
That
that you
made you turn
needed
to that.
to
Yep.
decompress, right on,
Decompress.
that we need to talk about, and it's not easy, because that period of time would take you places in terms
Yeah.
of,
Oh,
what did you do when you see somebody that you knew they was a drug? I want to hear from people who
Or what did
had
you
to
do?
survive the crack era, not people who
Yeah.
were sellers or users,
People who
but those
survived.
people in the middle that we never get to hear,
Yeah.
What did
because
you
they was
do
the one who
with
picked
The
up all
people
the
who was
impact.
a part of it
Yeah.
but
What
was
did you-
impacted by it or didn't partake
Right.
in it.
What
Yeah.
did you
Right.
do
Survive.
with
Well, it
someone
impacted
who's out of
us.
your
I mean, I'm
house?
talking about didn't
I
partake
get
in
you.
it. Like
I
they
get
wasn't
you.
crackheads. They lived through it.
Because who picked up the slack
Right.
for people who decided to be drug dealers and go to prison,
So
or
that-
people who were drug users?
I'm not saying impact. I'm saying that they didn't partake in the drug
Drug
itself,
itself,
but it
right
impacted
on.
their life.
There wasn't
It
any-
didn't from dumb people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khadijah.
I know what you were saying.
Because I think
Yeah.
we had this
So we
conversation.
still got impacted
It'll
from
be
what
somebody
didn't
talking about
drug.
I've
Right.
used for 100 years. Okay,
I want the one that was that lived next to you that didn't use. How did she survive it?
Yeah, or your
Right,
daughter.
right,
Yeah.
Or what did
Yeah.
you-
Or your
right.
sister.
Or your mom or
or-
whoever took. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
What was it like
Yeah.
working for the welfare department and you started, how
watching all
did
your
foster
neighbors,
care
yeah.
blow up like that?
How did
Right.
it blow up?
Foster care blew
Yes.
Yes.
Kim said she feel like she went to church.
up.
That's about to start.
It is.
Yes,
Don't get
yes,
us drunk in the
yes.
back. But I think that's a good conversation, and I think that
It's a needed
how did it
conversation.
impact us? How did it impact on us having grandparents who had to really take care of their grandchildren? They weren't ready for that.
Right.
It's one thing being a grandparent, you kids come to you on the weekends, well, they had to live with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. And then you gotta figure out how you gonna do this and that. You gotta figure out daycare and all that.
Yeah.
Robin Black said that's where the great generational gap came into play.
I agree.
Yes.
I
I
agree.
agree with that too.
I agree.
And you
I
know
agree
what?
with that too.
And making these phone calls for the black food parent. It's a lady who is raising 7 of her grandkids. These are great grands that she's raising. And
That's it.
I want to say she's 87. She told me talk for like 40. I couldn't get off the phone right. I don't like to talk, but I think I want to say she's 87, but she has 7 great grandkids that she's raising. So can you just imagine at 87? You know what I mean? That's a lot of.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
And the impact.
And these are supposed to be
Yeah.
her goal. That's her
87?
winner.
Yeah,
That's her
these are her
winner.
great-
And
Wait,
the impact
winner.
of today, because the fact that you're talking to somebody's great
Great-
grandma who's 85 years old, I'm pretty sure she didn't have in her retirement plan and she was gonna
Exactly.
parent all over again.
Then, right.
You know,
Upsetting, yeah,
I think that's the missing piece in this conversation. And I love when Daryl Roberts says that also where black people that distrust really grew in the black community during the black
Yes.
era.
Yeah.
Our distrust, every culture has stuff when they don't distrust each other. Well, black folks, it works a little differently. I'm gonna always say that because crack was targeted for us. One
Yes.
or two other groups, yeah, but with us, it basically this trust we have for each other grew
Mhm.
in that period, and now it just has now it's like 35, 40 years old.
Yep,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
needs
I
trust
agree.
of us. So
I agree.
I just think that's a conversation I'm looking forward to having
Yeah.
in the new year.
Me
So
too.
I'll be launching a bunch of stuff over this break, last conversation. I'm trying to, and y'all may want to think about this with me.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out a certain topic and have like a PowerPoint, but also going live with that PowerPoint and breaking down what you see.
Oh,
And we should do that by
Yes.
topics. Because I think in our community, we just don't have these conversations.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we live
That's
in
true.
fantasy so much.
Yeah.
But I love studying reality. I watch the National Geographic channel. I mean, I watch all of these things around, development of human beings. I want to see that for black folks.
Yeah.
I want to know what
Yeah.
happened to us.
Yeah.
Right.
That means
The
something.
real story of
The real
Yeah.
story, not
Yeah.
the stuff we dress
That's
up
some
because we want
serious
other people to
research.
think we're like everybody else.
Right.
I'm so sick of that shit.
Because we create a story to make us assimilate with everybody else, and our shit is so unique.
It's so
we
unique.
can't blend
We
it.
can't
It's-
do it,
we-
yeah.
And I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And I want my
Right.
ancestors to be recognized.
Exactly. I don't want
Yeah.
to blend it
We
in.
celebrate George Washington and Abe Lincoln, shit.
Mhm.
Both of them owned slaves.
Mhm.
So please quit acting
Yeah.
like this man Lincoln did not. Y'all gotta stop with that bullshit. And the Civil
Yes,
War
he
was not
did.
about freeing slaves. It was about economics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, y'all, we'll get me started on that. So,
And then
closing
you-
remarks. We our last 4 minutes or so. Closing remarks, family. Oh, we got a comment from Kim real quick. I wanna make sure.
Yeah.
You ladies are amazing. I know I don't have a big voice in this because I'm a white girl, but you are doing what you are doing is so important, not just for your community, but for the world. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you, Kim.
Please thank you for inviting me. I love y'all.
Oh, I did-
Oh,
my-
we love
my
you
screen
too.
open.
Love you
Okay.
too.
That's gonna be another conversation. I wanna be able to get
Yeah.
some other kind of people
Happy
in here. I
holidays.
mean, just on a special one, to talk about what are the differences and how we really see each other.
Mhm.
Be honest. And I
Right.
think that's hard because, it's hard to say your truth, because then people get their feelings, but it's like, dude, have you hell?
Yep.
I mean, be honest.
Right.
'Cause that to me is why America can't heal, because she won't have that hard discussion.
Right.
Cause she think
I
it's gonna,
agree
cause she
with
know
that.
if she was
Yeah.
me, what she would do.
America knows she's guilty as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, period.
I don't wanna
Right.
say America to him though, but shit.
Well,
I
him,
mean-
her.
No,
y'all,
we
it
say
doesn't
her,
matter.
because we produce everything. Let's
Right.
be honest. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Kim said, "Get her on this panel."
Bam, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come tell y'all
I'm
the
looking,
truth.
I'm so looking
she'll
forward to
tell y'all
that.
the
That's
truth.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So what y'all got going on? We're gonna wrap up this minute.
I have my nieces who came in town today. Welcome home, Moni and Kim. Okay, anyway, I have all family stuff this week, pretty much. I'm gonna be with all my kinfolk that are coming in town that I haven't seen, and just connecting with everybody. And yeah, that's my week. And I want to send a shout out to Boys in the Hood Book Club for the King's Pickets. They loved it. They had an awesome time, and it was awesome.
Okay, so
Cool.
with that being said, I'm sorry I'm
No, go
jumping
ahead.
in.
No.
We got to give
Go
a
ahead.
shout out to Rose Family
Creative
Creative Empowerment Center because the King tickets were compliments of her. Thank you so much for blessing the Boys in the Hood with that. We
Right on.
always and forever love you for that. Not for that, just for that, but we love you.
Right on. Mama Rose. Oh, Miss Jackie Rose.
Oh,
She's
okay.
really,
You.
she has mother, she has big mama energy.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
mama. I falls in line when a real queen show up. I fall right down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
You just like, what you want me to do?
Because they commanded.
Yeah.
I don't have any fun when somebody's a natural leader or a
Yeah.
queen, you fall in line.
Yeah,
Like,
you
Right.
fall
especially if they ordered out, whoop, what you need me to do?
Right. Yeah.
And Danny, you kind of built that with your, I noticed that, but I'm off subject, but
No, go ahead.
when Boys in the Hood, I noticed how the women that come around, when they get in there, everybody just fall in and just make it work. I noticed that. I've been noticing that each week, everybody just come in and it just organically happens, you know?
Yeah. Good deal.
Okay, go
Don't
ahead.
make me
I'm
so
already doing it.
angry, but yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I'll go after you. I'm sorry I jumped in.
So for me, it's really, taking some time to connect with my kids and all that kind of stuff, but we're still doing the radio show, and we're Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Etta Radio, and you can actually download the app at 365 or Live 365 to be able to listen in. And when you listen in, if you have any questions, just send them to me. Check out my Facebook page and let me know what you'd like to hear about, because we're about really trying to get us to move to the next level, do those things that is going to allow us to create the life that we want to create. And also, we have our annual vision board workshop that is going to be happening January 26th. So if you all have not clicked on the link and get your tickets, do that, because it's going to be a day of great fun and a great learning and great stretch and all that great stuff. So yeah, that's what we got going
And
on.
I
Just
saw
leaving
one
it
that
to you.
there. That made me think the vision board we used to do like back when I was like 17, 18, yeah, back.
Yeah.
What about you, Dana?
So this week, I would have to say thanks what is it, T to the D, for an off day on Monday. That's one of the things he did. So anyway, I'm grateful for that. So I get an off day. I'm just happy I get an off day, y'all.
Right.
But what we're gonna be doing on Friday, Boys in the Hood is going to be having their last meetup of the year. They're also going to be doing Kwanzaa. The Honorable Judge Gary E. Ransom will come and address them, talking about the school to prison pipeline. So please come. Boys in the Hood is open to the public that day. So come, bring a dish. Also, we'll be in the Obama room. We'll be in the Obama room this Friday, December 28th. Starts at 6:30 and it ends at 8:30. Also, to shout out to the Sacramento Association of Black Social Workers. They're going to come and they're going to do the Zawadi portion of the Kwanzaa, and I hope I pronounced that right. Shout out to Miss Arobia Battle and her crew. Also, shout out to our sponsors that day too. Vegan Van 916. They're going to bless us with some vegan gumbo. So I'm looking forward to tasting that. And then also Cora Lorraine Soul Food. She's going to bless us with some delectables. And then also too, I just solicited my good sister Rolanda Wilkins. Gonna bless us with some banana pudding.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm over something else. I was like, oh,
So what I'm supposed to do?
I know, yeah, woo.
No, I'll ask you the rest of the stuff offline. So anyway, no. So anyway, I'm just so grateful. And you're right, Khadijah. This is my sister too. I done took her. Boys in the Hood would be nothing without the parents and without the people, like Miss Mama Rose, who believed in me from the beginning. I don't even know if Boys in the Hood would even be in existence. So I'm so grateful. It is, the whole community pours into that program, and it just means a lot to me. Literacy, I love words, and literacy is really important to me. Okay, and then on the 30th, I know Queen is doing vision boards. But also, I want to shout out Nubian Empower Women are also doing vision boards on Sunday, December 30th. And that's going to be here at the building, 2251 Florin Road, Sacramento, California. It's free to the public. I know I'll be there, and I know, because y'all, vision boarding works.
Yes,
Yes, it does.
Vision boarding works.
Imagery, it's all about imagery.
Yes.
And you know what? Thank you guys for always listening to us. I love coming here. Whenever I can't come, I miss them. And sometimes for a lot of us, this is how we catch up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
True.
peace and love.
Wow, y'all. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. This week, got a lot of stuff going on, interviews. I'm just going to post them, y'all. I just got a lot of stuff in the cooker as I prepare to launch this Earth Mama Healing Network. Got a lot of people on board. I got somebody now that's going to come in and do financial. Calvin Freeman's going to come in and do financial 15-minute financial segments, which is great. And we post every week. And Sister Cheryl James is a plant-based chef, that's what I call her, who also went through that process at Kaiser, changing her diet to plant-based, and she lost a lot of weight and got off all her blood pressure medicine. So she's going to come in and do recipes, like one recipe a week
That's so neat.
to vegan.
Ooh,
Plant-based, not
yes.
vegan,
So
not vegan,
neat.
plant-based,
Yeah.
plant-based. So I'm gonna go to her house and set up in the kitchen, boom, and
That's
she
what's
gonna
up.
straight up cook a
Right.
meal for
Ooh,
us
I
and
look
tell us how to
forward
do
to
that.
Yeah.
So I got all these
Nice.
people. Then we got Mr. Alicia Cook coming to talk about career and college ready opportunities. Another sister. So for me, I'm literally building a network because I'm not trying to like be in the camera in front of everybody. This is cool. I love it. But my ultimate dream and goal growing up was to produce images that
Right.
impact Black living in reality.
Right.
With real looking Black people, not all bunch of beige people and all of this with weaves down our goddamn black back. Because sometimes to be on Black TV, you have to
Gotta
look a
look
certain
around.
way.
Right.
And to me, it's a little
Yeah.
bit more racist than we could accuse the powers that be or white
Right.
supremacy of being, we do it and we act like it's okay, but it's not okay because I don't see me. The last black woman I seen on TV who I felt married me was Mabel King. And that was on goddamn, What's Happening. I've never seen a big black woman since. So,
Right.
I wanna produce some things with real black people on it. You know, we talk about us being a rainbow,
In
but
a
we never wanna
positive
show
role,
that.
yep.
We never
Right.
wanna show the real rainbow. We wanna show
Right.
people who marry white people, and that's not okay. Cause
Yeah.
all of us are not married to them. So anyway, y'all, imagery is everything. So family, thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
This has been awesome, awesome,
Yes,
awesome,
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
So awesome. Yeah. Okay, then we were kids, we used to end stuff like that.
All right, all right.
Yeah, have a good week.
Have a
guys
good
have a good
week.
week.
Enjoy your family and your holidays and all that great stuff.
Yes.
Deuces.
Oh, God.
Which
Right on top. Okay, I gotta stop this right here. I'll stop this. This is a new one over here, y'all. Hold on.
one is it?
Oh, y'all keep talking. We
Keep
we're
talking.
still
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
still on the
So we wanna get
YouTube.
this week started. So what y'all got going on today, ladies?
Oh, girl, today, I'm off at the beauty supply. So what I'm gonna be
okay.
doing?
What?
right-
Dana, you off?
Yeah, that's why I'm getting a couple off days. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So no, we all are at the beauty supply because all of us work really hard, and so we met and we were like, no.